I remember when Greg got the bad Tiki doll and the Brady Bunch, and it was all over.
Oh, then we got Brady Bunch curse on us already, and I haven't even done the intro. Okay,
Yep.
this is Volcano Broadcasting Tiki Bar Lounge Chat, featuring Edge and One Bad Marine. And let's see, gonna start out. I have a giveaway channel that I want everybody to do the giveaway on real quick.
All right.
And it's the it's the everyday knife guy giveaway. So sign up for that. He has giveaway one if you're not subscribed already, and giveaway one if you're not subscribed, just for new subs, and then giveaway two if you were already a sub. And I'll put the link to the giveaway video in the internal and on the gunchannels.com chat lobby.
All right. If you want the people that watch it later to see it, set up a new tab with that address on it and just show it up there for a minute by locking in on yourself, and they can grab the info off of there for the third-party people.
Okay, let me do one thing at a time instead of everything at once.
I don't know,
That's
my
if I
friend.
do everything at once, nothing works.
Get with the program here.
I get an extra nickel for being the technical support guy, right?
You're the technical support guy?
Still go surfing with that Tiki doll.
Yeah, it's pretty bad when I'm the technical support.
There's the internal to the giveaway video for Everyday Knife Guy. And then let me put it in the gunchannels.com next. This is a Tiki Bar to answer Moon. This is kind of like a Tiki Bar lounge lobby chat deal. And I just put a giveaway video for new and old subscribers to Everyday Knife Guy. And so...
You can't have a Tiki without
no, everybody has to go get a drink. I
don't have a drink with an umbrella in it.
I have an umbrella, but no, I have I got one time I was at a bar and I got the girl to I want like 100 of those things. She just gave them to me. So, so I should have been in a drawer. And I can go get a Crown Royal real quick, but I mean, if you're going to the gym, I don't know after this chat, I don't know what you're gonna start drinking now.
All right, so I got the audio turned off for this thing. Other than subscribing, what are the other rules of the contest?
Oh, just say I want in on giveaway number 1 if you're a new subscriber, or I want in on giveaway number 2 if you already were a subscriber before, and you can do a shout out video like I just did and get one.
So do you just put that comment in his thing?
Yeah, on that video. Yeah, on that video right there. All right. I think he's giving away like a multi-tool and something else on giveaway number 1, and giveaway number 2 has a few more items included. So
for the old
everybody.
Crown and Cokes.
Nice. And giveaway number 1 is for the newbies, right?
Yeah, giveaway number 1 for newbies, giveaway number 2 for previous subscribers. That's the date of the video he posted. So anyway, so start off with some free stuff if you get lucky and win. And
I've been married for a while, I don't get lucky.
What's that?
TMI.
Did you ever win anything on a YouTube contest?
Actually, I have won Bob's contest.
I don't know if I want to win. The last time I won, it cost me a lot of money.
How's that?
That route.
So Yankee Marshall was doing a thing for Pug Rescue. So it was every $5 donation got you one little ticket in the drawing, right? So I donated $20. And there was 3 prizes, one of them being an AR lower. We assumed that was going to be the number 1 prize, but the other 2 guys wanted the other stuff and not the lower, so I got 2nd place and ended up with the lower. And so then I donated back to the Pug Rescue what he had paid for the lower, which was like $60. And then it cost me another $700 to build the AR. So it cost me almost $800 for participating in his giveaway. Because I'm not really an AR guy, but once I got the lower and because I have a gun channel, I had to build it, right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, you have to build it.
Either way, it cost me $800 in the end.
So
but now I have an AR lower, or not AR lower, but an AR rifle. Actually, it ended up being a cool build. It has the Fail Zero bolt carrier group and a BCM upper, and then everything else is sort of that CMMG stuff. But it turned out pretty nice.
yeah, I still don't have AR. I really want to get make a Yankee Marshall sticker and put it on my Tavor because Yankee Marshall hates Tavors. So.
I don't think he hates them. I just think he thinks they're overpriced.
I don't think he understands the concept of them. No, he bought an AUG, and I went over that with G-Webs and Yankee Marshall last night. And my point was that an AUG. They were saying, I think Chris was saying that an AUG, the only thing it was really designed for is so that it wouldn't freeze in Antarctica or something. And I mean, it wasn't designed for a specific combat purpose like the Tavor was designed by. I explained to Yankee that the Tavor was not designed by IWI to sell in America to civilians. It was designed by IMI, under the state-controlled entity, because Israel, who had plenty of M4 rifle carbines for almost free from the United States, they needed a urban combat close quarter kind of a rifle, and that's why they designed this thing. So it was designed for a specific purpose, not just because somebody wanted to design a rifle, So.
Stog Iyer was one of the first also ambidextrous combat rifles.
Right. But the point was that it was designed to fulfill a specific purpose for a specific army for a specific reason, and everything that Yankee was complaining about the Tavor was an actually designed feature that contributed to the purpose for which it was designed.
Well, Yankee, if he has an opinion on something, you're hard pressed to change it.
I just want to get. Well, I mean, now he bought a rifle that, I mean, if he wants to store it in like a freezer and pull it out, it'll work. But
well, the other thing you got to remember, Yankee also. I remember many conversations about the Rhino. He says, "Nah, I don't get it. I don't like it. So I don't see it's gimmicky and blah blah blah." And I don't remember exactly. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not sit there and quote him. But nevertheless, he didn't like it much. And if you ever seen his last videos, he's a big Rhino Uberti or Chiappa Rhino fan now.
I think I watched a recent video of his that was okay. I trying to remember what it was about. He rants about something. But anyway, so if anybody can make me a Yankee Marshall sticker to put on my Tavor just to piss off Yankee, that'd be cool. I mean, because G-Webs did a video with all his, merit badges or demerit badges or patches, and so it'd be really cool to get a Yankee Marshall, unofficial Yankee Marshall sticker or something, and put it on guns that Yankee isn't a fan of or something. Anyway, so now that we got our giveaway out of the way, Edge, you kind of dropped out early the other night because we were talking about on the Monday lock and load. You got a Glock or something this week or last week?
I bought a Glock about almost a month ago. Glock 19, Gen 3, and Flat Dark Earth. And it's a great gun, man. I like it. The only issue I've had with it is shooting NATO rounds out of it. I had some hiccups, but it could be the hard primers that we were talking about, and I've talked to some other folks about that. It just could be that particular issue. I don't recall shooting NATO 9mm through my Glock 26. I've shot it through that SIG I used to have, but that was a hammer fire.
I thought Glocks ran everything.
They usually do, but this particular.
I'm just being a smart ass, Edge. Sorry, you don't have to explain.
No, I mean it's legitimate. That's why I brought it up. It's because I have that confidence, like you're talking about. A lot of people do, and it was an issue. So after talking to some folks, Murphy and some other people, that I value their opinion, and Sean from Florida Carry, a lot of them told me, yeah, that unfortunately, some of those primers are really packed tight, and your striker might not always set them off, unfortunately. But it was something yeah, it's cool. Because I started using 115 after that, standard 115 ammo, range ammo, 9 mil, and I shot 100 rounds of that, didn't have one single hiccup. But every other couple rounds, I was having an issue with where disabling. It was the ammunition was disabling the trigger because it wasn't striking properly. So yeah, but it's I like the gun. So now one of my go-to carry guns.
So basically, last week you were just working on figuring out what ammo works and what ammo doesn't, or
A couple things. I installed some sites I got sent to test, the True
right
sites. So I was doing that. And
I saw you put up that holster video. I didn't have time to completely look at it all because it was 14 minutes. So I'm gonna check that out. That was what holster was that?
the latest holster,
Yeah, you just
this morning. That's only 10 minutes, I believe, that video.
okay.
And that's a leather holster for the Glock 19. It's from R Grizzle holsters. Man, that dude makes some really neat stuff. He's out of Georgia, northern part of Georgia, but a really pleasant holster, man. I'm looking forward, hopefully, when we can open carry here soon, and be able to use that as a mainstay of a regimen. Part of my carry, as far as for that Glock 19, is a sweet holster, and on top of being very functional and very functional and useful holster, it's aesthetically pleasingly as well.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool. I'm gonna have to look at that video tonight. I was just busy because my mom got sick, and then my dad got sick because from my mom. So this looks like they're gonna be okay though. Thank God. But anyway, so
I got about another three or four more holster reviews I have to do to complete. Some stuff was sent to me to test, and they'll be coming out soon. And as well as hopefully some gear, some other lights and stuff I got coming in.
So one bad Marine, we always do. I'm have this Monday thing called Lock and Load, and it's just like what everybody's working on this week. So if you can make it Mondays, that'd be cool. But for now, what are you working on this week?
Gun-wise?
Well, whatever. No, I mean it could be anything. Like for me, I was working on getting a lightweight carry tarp for my backpack, and I finally got one today. I ordered it because Bud K had a 30% sale off of everything in the store, and they had these. They had the Snug Pack. I think they're like 10 feet by 9 feet. Tarps, lightweight, ripstop. And so then it's only 14 ounces, and so I mean it's not like if I was gonna intentionally go out and it's not the one I would pick. I'd get a stronger one, but just for a lightweight one to throw in my backpack for emergencies or something.
Well, it's salmon season for me, so my project this last week was I ran into a guy on Facebook that was selling about $250 worth of lures for $80. So I bought those.
Wow.
And I got a tackle box and got them all nice and neat and organized in there. And that was sort of my project for the week. I actually have a picture, but it's on my phone, and I guess I could email it to myself. But you like my background picture? I changed it. The caption with this was his last fishing trip.
Last fishing trip?
Uh-huh. It's just coffin.
It's in a graveyard. I see.
Right.
How about spook? No, it should be like haunted fishing or spooky fishing or.
Here, let me make sure
or zombie fisherman. Zombie fishing.
All right. Okay, it says It says his last trip out. That's the caption that came with the picture when I got it. Yeah.
Tripping out,
His last trip out, yeah.
fishing,
But anyhow,
graveyard fishing.
I guess if I got really creative, I could send myself the picture into my computer to share it with you. Because I got a picture of the tackle that I picked up.
Well, save it when you ever get. Are you ever gonna? Do you have any luck getting your fishing chat started? Because I know you.
We can talk about that a little bit. So I've been trying to work through Facebook and stuff, trying to get interest from people that are primarily fishing people. And these people are not electronic people, evidently, other than Facebook, because the whole concept of a Google Hangout and it being fun and entertaining is just lost on them. I've spammed multiple boards trying to recruit people, and I got 2 or 3 people that have expressed some interest in it, but that's about it. And I was really hoping to garner a bigger pool of fishing people to sort of backbone it. So it's still in the works, but it might be a little while before we have a really good one. I'm probably not going to do one tomorrow just because I am not prepared, but I'll probably do an announcement this week that next Thursday will be one of the bi-monthly fish chats, because that's what I'm going to do twice a month on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. So it's in the works, but it's a little bit slower going than I originally thought. I'm actually considering spending a little bit of time on. It used to be that YouTube had a thing for where you could sort of go through and scan what's open on Hangouts, looking for stuff or whatever. I may try and see if I can find some other people that are already talking fishing and sort of drag them into my web, if you will. But we'll see how it goes. So we got crickets, or are we just? Am I
No. I was working on something.
with the hotel internet? Half the times I don't know if I'm hung up or if it's just a pause in the conversation. That's why I asked. Anyhow, but it's in the works. I'm gonna try and have at least a little bit of storyboarded pictures with some different types of tackle and suggested setups and stuff to have around to trot out here and there.
Well, I have my World War III chat all storyboarded, but I think people weren't ready for that after.
Never enough family.
They wanted light. They hate lobby, but they want light. So they World War III for tomorrow. I'm sure something will happen.
Honestly, if it hadn't been for going through Matt's thing, I'd have been okay with the World War III thing. But
yeah, but okay. Well, tomorrow. There's still be time for World War III tomorrow.
Yep, we definitely have time for it.
So yeah, I got Bud K had that 30% sale. There's another company, AquaQuest, has some great tarps that look like they're on sale too at the AquaQuest website in Canada. I didn't get those yet, but they had free shipping, and they had like a camel one that's like 12 by 10, and it looks really thick. It's heavier than the snug pack ones, and it's like they have a 40 and a 60D thickness one, and one's like camo, and the lighter one's just green, and it's like some kind of camo pattern or something, but looked really thick and well put together, and so that was my main thing, like on my first lock and load, and then I had gone to Wilderness Outfitters, and not only were they out of green, all they had was gray. It was like way more expensive, and although it was well put together, I mean, it was the snug pack, the light one that they had at Bud K, and today's if you want one or just want anything from there, it's 30% off of everything. And so I got like a Sawyer mini filter too, also for a water filter. It's really small, and it's like 0.001 or 1 micron, and like the life straws are like 2 microns filter. So anyway, got one of them. Stuff to throw in the hiking backpack, mostly.
Found one of my flashlights I lost on the job. It's returned to me today. Went out and bought another one right away. So
I
pretty
got
cool.
it. I got a new gun in my purchasing sites, but it's on hold, sort of, in that the gun is at a shop that doesn't have the right market to sell it. So I know it'll be there because I've already told my wife I've got so a friend of mine's buddy is inheriting an estate's worth of guns, and there's some bucket list guns I might pick up out of that. So I got to get that straightened out before I go pick up the other gun, which is a Para CCW LDA double stack to be the twin sister to my single stack CCW LDA.
Still got my pair of P13. I just did some mods to it today. I found a pair of original grips. I have a pair of original grips, but mine were a little marred up. So I found a pair on eBay,
Right.
and I'm gonna stipple them on at least the right side of the grip, but the one where mainly it's covered by your palm of your hand, and then I put some also. I got rid of the little pierce grips I had on it with the finger grooves, and I put some of that grip tape on it to give it some extra grip.
Skateboard tape.
It's I actually got it from this one guy who sent me it to off eBay. If you see those Glocks that I have where I have that tape on it, he does the tape in and where it's real abrasive, kind of like basic sandpaper, and the other one or grip tape. And the other one is rubber tape. It's an alternative to those Falcon grips that you see, or Talon grips that are like $20-$70. These are like $11.99. They're really good stuff. So I finally put it on it today, and I'm gonna stipple the grips on it as well, at least on the right side. Maybe take it easy on the left side, and do that as a fun project and see how that works out.
Have you guys ever seen that show, Building Wild, on I think National Geographic?
I have not.
Yeah, they were building this one. Basically, they just build something in the middle of nowhere, like a vacation house or something like that. Vacation, little
Okay.
shack or whatever.
And they give it away as them or something.
Houses, those dream tree houses for people.
Yeah, it's kind of like a treehouse thing, but it's Building Wild. It's just like it's not building a treehouse like in a suburban area. It's building like in the middle of nowhere, so they don't have anything, and they have to challenges to overcome. But anyway, I just saw it when I saw them building. It gave me an idea, like that'd be pretty easy. Well, relatively easy way to build like a guard tower or something. Is if you have there's the base, they use those concrete big feet, and then they basically have a telephone pole with a hole in the middle, and you need some kind of leverage. I suppose you could just use some kind of. I mean, they had a machine to lift it up and then put it down on it, but although you could do it, with enough guys by pulleys and stuff, but and then you just lower the telephone poles onto the big feet, which you have to dig into the ground, a little ways, and to mount the big, and then you have to make sure they're all flat, and balanced, and then you put the feet on, and then you weld the metal base to the bottom base to the big feet and to the pole to give it more strength and stability from wind and stuff, and so that you could pretty much. They were just using that for the base of a house, but it seems like it'd build a pretty cool guard tower the same way. If you wanted one. I don't know how they build guard towers in the military, because like you see like that Green Beret movie, and it just or when you see all those war movies, and they always have some kind of cool guard tower overlooking everything. Well, I just wanted a guard tower for some reason that I don't know.
It's a good place to get shot at. But, yeah.
Well, you could put steel on the bottom of it.
Yeah. Definitely needs some reinforcing.
Anyway, it just seemed like it was a fun show watching them build stuff, and you can learn how they're doing stuff, and it's a fun show. I think it's on National Geographic or one of those
Uh,
types of channels and stuff. But okay, Tiki
sorry,
Lounge, guys.
you lost me with the guard tower thing.
You're not into guard towers or building stuff like that?
No, it makes me think about hardening of my house for shit at the fan that I haven't done yet. So,
Ah,
sort of
well, I did a prep for
uh,
World War III chat that people seem to like, but I think the chat that people really liked was the World War III is live now chat.
uh,
I got into a argument with Yankee over Yemen because he didn't know anything about Yemen. I was going on there. He's like, Yemen? There's no war in Yemen. What are you talking about? No, but I'm saving that for the next World War III chat.
50% or 60% of women is illiterate.
50% of who?
Yemen, that country is illiterate.
Yeah, well, you don't need to be literate to fire a gun.
yeah,
But you're also easily manipulated into somebody else's too. You can't read for your own what's out there. Mind you, it's also limited of the text and literature to read.
Yeah, it's a crazy, fucked up world. What can I say?
yep.
I never
Well, the
really,
last. Oh, good.
so I never realized how big Yemen was. So you pointed on the map the other day. I was like, wow. I always heard Yemen's a little pissant country.
It's getting ready to be a real hot spot here pretty quick, courtesy of whatever we're calling the jihadists these days.
Well, the jihadists are actually on the side against the same side that the Saudis are. You know,
Yeah,
it's the Houthis that
yeah,
are backed by Iran. But
yeah. But they all want to take over an area that was originally controlled by somebody else. So,
well, it's Arabia. I think whoever has the most guns is in charge. You know.
yeah, pretty much. And what gets me is I run into people all the time. They're like, they think they have this solution for what's going on in the Middle East. I'm like, this is a bunch of people that have been fighting for the better part of 2,000 years, and you think you're going to come in with the way to get them to all play nice together? It ain't going to work.
Leave them alone.
You know.
Let them
Well,
settle.
I don't know about leaving them alone, because if one group coalesces its power and takes over all the rest of them, then they have all the resources there that create problems. But to have this idea that you can come in and occupy the country and turn them into a democratic process, and it's all going to be happy, happy, joy, joy, is just not going to work.
We've been dicking around over there in the Middle East since the mid 50s.
Yeah,
Nothing good has come of it because every aspect they tried to um, power or support has either got kicked out, overthrown.
Except for
well,
Israel. Except for Israel.
well, but we didn't occupy them. We just supported their
No.
ideas.
Well, they would be happy if American troops wanted to come over and station themselves.
Right. Yeah.
But
Uh,
they never needed American troops. So there's
well,
always enough people willing to grab a rifle, and I mean everybody's in the military.
I
That
know
was
that.
one of the things about the Tavor is that I forgot to mention is that because it's 100% co-educational army is that you don't have to be really strong, and the weight, because Yankee was complaining all the weight is on the back, but it's like you can, the barrel is so much lighter, you don't have to move it as much to get a new target.
Change
Sorry.
direction. Yeah. No, I get you.
Is there a particular reason why we don't have a base in Israel?
Then we don't need a base there.
If you could land anywhere, yeah, just ask them. They'll let you go.
Yeah. Well, they'll let us land there. But wasn't it this Israeli army, or aren't they the ones that came up with that sort of mechanism so you can fire a pistol around a corner without sticking your head around or whatever?
I don't know who invented that.
But if they didn't invent it, they were using it anyways, if memory serves. It's sort of a cool tool. Nobody wants to stick their head around the corner when people are ready to shoot at you. Not very practical for EDC, but
So
your
what
war situation.
you were talking about, you won't have a list of stuff you want to do to your house to harden it for shit hits the fan?
Well, yeah, in that perfect world, that kind of stuff takes time and a lot of money.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'm looking at basically pulling my exterior sheathing off and re-insulating and doing some other stuff. And that would be the perfect time to do some of that hardening type of stuff. So it may happen, but
like steel plate.
No, I'm looking more like they look at in like they do in tanks. Because in tanks they don't try and stop the rounds; they try and either absorb the energy or redirect
reactive
it.
armor on your house.
Sort of thinking along that line, yeah. Just got to come up with a way to do it that doesn't put me in the poorhouse.
Reactive armor. Well, yeah, that's...
Well, not explosive reactive, but you know what I'm talking about. I actually did some work with some shit they were testing for tanks. I'm pretty sure it wasn't classified, so I can talk about it, but I worked for a company that made ceramic products, and we were making all kinds of different shaped ceramic things to use with tanks to try and slow shit down that came out of tank. It was sort of interesting.
Well, I'm sure if I tried to do a reactive armor on a house, I'd probably just blow it up.
Well, there's not going to be any explosives involved in this. I mean, it's basically having a media that will change the direction of travel of the bullet and scrub energy as it does.
Glass does that. Glass does that, doesn't it?
Well, sort of. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to coat the outside with freaking Kevlar or whatever. That's going to be too expensive. But I've been playing around with ideas of what kind of media I can use for an insulating value and sort of harden it up a little bit.
Did they? I'm almost certain they did because I didn't watch Matt's chat. Did they cover that cop in South Carolina shooting that black guy?
We didn't talk about it in the chat.
Okay, somebody is saying it's corner shot is the name of the weapon you're talking about.
All right.
Corner shot.
Cool.
The only reason I bring it up, and I saw a video a couple times, several of the 2 videos they have, man. That dude was at the range, man. It was that bad. His stance, the way he was at, he was at the range.
I don't know. I'm not going to get into it too far. One of the things that was brought up when it was discussed around me was, because I haven't watched the video, I'm not going to claim to have watched the video, but evidently it looked like the guy picked up his taser and put it by the guy he shot, not knowing he was being taped to make it sound like the guy had his taser and that's why he shot him. But he's already in jail for arraigned for murder charges. So.
I mean, there was no... I'm surprised he didn't see that guy who was being videotaped. But you just have to assume you're being videotaped these days, you know, when you're a police officer and your duty is, you know, don't CYA, cover your ass and follow the rules, you know. But, yeah, that was some crazy shit. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I don't know why did he shoot that guy? He was running away. I mean, just because he was too lazy.
I think he got his ass partially kicked or whatever and just wasn't thinking straight and shot him.
No, the way I understand it was, at least from what I've heard, you know, several people talking about it today and viewing the video, they pulled the guy over and the guy was just not, you know, for a broken tail light or something like that. Or
it was a broken tail light, not much I got off of Patriot Radio.
And then the guy because he's had like unpaid child support, you know, issues for a long time. So
right.
I started getting frisky with them, like let him know I'm probably gonna take you in. The guy like started freaking out, and then he pulled his taser on him, and the guy tried to grab the taser from him. You could see from the video, it's like he has like his hands on it, and then he's like, "Fuck this," and he bolts. And his hands are free in the air as he's running, and he puts 8 rounds, 5 rounds to hit him, but 8 rounds in total. And 5 hit him in the back, and then he goes up, and then he ends up, you know, like I said, it looks like I'm not assert 100% because the way it's being scaled is that he dropped the taser right by him, trying to claim that well, he took my taser, so therefore he has the potential to cause harm. So I had the authority to use deadly force on him, and ensured that he wouldn't use that taser on anybody else. And that obviously, from what the video looks like, it doesn't look like that's a true statement. And they inside with him very easily. He's a 33-year-old guy. Dude.
He's going to be in prison for the rest of his life.
Hopefully. I hope they're not going to sit there and give him like well, you're a servant of the, so we're going to give you a softer sentence. I hope that doesn't happen because if he
throw the book at him.
If throw him into the general.
I haven't seen you in here for a while.
Hey, Huck, how you doing?
Not too bad.
I was just going to say, if they
busy at work,
throw that guy in general population, it'll be a very short life sentence.
Yes.
So I was listening to Joe Rogan talk about something the other day, and this especially brought it up. My new rule is that I don't judge fights that I was not involved in. I was listening to him talk about a UFC fight and two guys that were fighting each other, and he was sort of talking about their motivations and saying that one guy was scared, and to me it looked like the guy was baiting him. So it's just one of those things. Like, it's so hard to comment on it. The guy will get his due process, I'm sure.
Generally, you don't want to shoot people in the back because it doesn't look good in court.
You would think in the atmosphere right now where we're at, as far as this stuff just like exploding and catching on fire, and so on, New York and all this other stuff's going on. You would think these cops would be like, well, COA, I don't want to really get into this. I want to do this. I don't know if he's having a bad day or he just said, you know what, it's my, I finally get my. Again, I'm just assuming that probably what's in his mind. Maybe it's not like, oh, now I get to shoot somebody finally or whatever. Because they just, I'm not saying that's what it is, but trying to figure out why would you do something like that? Because he didn't have to. I mean, the guy was running away from him. He wasn't a threat to him anymore. So what? The only reason I could think of it, man, is because that dude just, maybe had a heart on to do it. I don't know. Yeah,
I haven't seen any solid evidence yet. I've seen some news reports and shit like that, but I haven't seen any court footage or any actual evidence that was presented to the state or anything like that. So I have no comment on what he did or what he didn't do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dash cam stuff yet, and that's what a lot of people want to see, the dash cam video.
Yeah, I've seen the video. I can comment on that, but I can't comment on what happened before that or after that.
Well, the video is by a bystander. That's what I'm saying. They want to get the dash cam video off the cruiser.
Yeah.
Oh.
Either way, I mean, I don't know. I pretty much think that the charges they brought against him look good based on the limited knowledge I have, and I'll leave it at that.
Right, that was my thing. Is that it looks like he's being charged according to the law to me. My only complaint with any kind of officer-involved shootings at all is that they aren't charged properly when they shoot dogs. I think when they shoot dogs, they should face the exact same inquiry they face when they shoot a person.
I could agree with that because they're getting way too gun happy, if you will, with the.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot more of it in the news lately. Whether or not it's happening more, or we're just getting reported a lot more. We're seeing a lot more of it.
Yeah. I don't know. They do crazy stuff. I don't remember if I've told this story online or not. I'll tell it because it's not really super private or anything. So one night, my neighbor gal across the street, her husband worked nights. She knew that I had guns and knew how to use them. I get a call from her. She says, I got guys walking around in my backyard, and she was all freaked out. I mean, she's got 4 little kids. And I was like, well, go ahead and call 911. And I grabbed my gun and go to check it out. And it was a SWAT team heading to the house next door to arrest somebody. But they had no reason to be on her property, did not announce themselves, and it could have gone really bad for me had I engaged SWAT with my firearm. And it could have gone off just like that, and I could have been dead wrong.
Sure.
They violated law because they do not have the right to just cross property on a served warrant without it. It's different, if they're chasing a bad guy and they goes through your yard, yeah, they can chase after him. But when you're serving a warrant like that, that does not give you the right to violate other people's or trespass on other people's property unannounced.
I mean, There was a. I mean, I'll preface this by saying I don't agree with shooting anybody unless obviously it's necessary, a cop or a civilian, whatever you want to call it. But there was a police officer, I forget where it was, I might have been in Texas, where they did a dynamic entry, basically no knock warrant. Knock warrant. The dude killed one of the sheriff's deputies, I believe, and he was never charged because they went in there and he was defending his home. I believe he had a gas doctrine, and he actually ended up killing one of them. So the opposite, which is more common, where they kill the guy defending his home, and he killed a law enforcement officer. And you're not advocating that's the thing to do, but because they do that, they actually didn't even charge him, indict him.
Right. Well, they shouldn't have because they were at the wrong address, right?
I'm not sure the particulars of that one. I think it is. I think it was the wrong address, and it's very common because unfortunately you get some jerks in your area that just want to settle a score with you over some beef you have with them, and they're like, "Yeah, this guy drugs out of his house." And
they call that swatting, and it's becoming more and more popular. And it doesn't seem like that some of the anti-gun people are above doing that to try and create problems for a gun owner. Unfortunately, personally, I think if you SWAT somebody, whether anybody's injured or not, those people should go to jail for a long fucking time.
I think one of the big things is if you live in
it should be like equivalent to attempted murder for the swatting.
If you live in a community where hopefully it's not that large, but even if you're assigned to a certain district, if you live in a metropolitan city, I mean, the whole goal, I think, is for the police to get to know their constituents, the people in there, and their district, and to have an idea when they say people, oh, well, this guy said this, or this guy's doing that, and they have an idea of, oh, come on now, it's not a reality, but let's do some investigating behind it. But before you go and knock down their door and come at it with a full SWAT mentality just to sit there and instead of doing the investigation or the background into it. I think that's a big thing with the cops getting to know the community and the community getting to know the cops, because I've seen it where in smaller towns we have a lot of small police departments within these little subsidiaries of San Antonio where everybody knows their local PD because there's only like 8 officers, and they all kind of know them in general.
I can't figure out how to put the source code for this video though. Yeah.
Yeah, is there any place that does have a law against swatting?
I don't know. I think it should be a federal law.
I mean, filing a false police report. Filing a
false the way the social media thing's growing, that's the problem now, is that people get scared and other people back up that opinion, and before you know it, it's not an opinion, it's somebody's old complaint, and there you go.
What if the complaint is like, he owns a gun, call the police?
That's a lot of times how it goes.
Where they don't check, oh, he has a gun, and then
most of the time it goes more like this. It goes, they know that you have a gun because they're acquainted with you. It goes like this: he threatened to kill me, and I know he has guns. You may not have ever made the threat. You may not have even ever shown him your guns, but the police are going to roll in. SWAT, well, not necessarily SWAT team, but at least the police, if not police and a SWAT team, are going to roll in. And then you have to prove to the courts that you didn't do it and try and get your firearms back and all this kind of shit. And it's just a bunch of crap.
Yeah, there was a guy in Arizona, I put in the chat the other night when we were in there in the Eternal, Navy veteran, successful businessman that retired early. He's like in his 50s, I think. And he had a beef with one of his neighbors that had a landscaping business. So I was parking his commercial vehicles, for his business, at the dwelling or at their neighborhood. You can't do that. So obviously you can start taking them away, but then he'd only bring them back all of a sudden, and on the weekends, just to pick at him. And they eventually got in a confrontation and discussion about it. And the guy who was doing that, the landscaper, knew that he had guns, so he said that he threatened him with a gun. And before you know it, they're in court. And the judge says, "Well, I don't because the situation de-escalated. I'm going to go ahead and take away your. We're going to go ahead and, or during the meantime, we're going to go ahead and take away all your guns because of the levity of the situation." And
Right.
well, dude, or the gravity of the situation.
You're guilty until proven innocent, unfortunately.
And he was pissed. Like, dude, why? Because the police department didn't require that. It wasn't anything judged. It said, I'm sorry, because of this situation, we're going to go ahead and have the PD. We're going to remove all your weapons.
Yeah. He's getting support though, because I saw the same article. And people are contributing to his legal fund to get him his guns back. Yeah.
And that's a complete he said, she said thing. No documentation of the argument.
It goes on more often than people realize. A jaded girlfriend knows you got a lot of guns. All I got to do is say, do the domestic violence thing or whatever, knowing that they'll get their gun rights taken away. Because a lot of states, you get domestic violence charge, not even convicted, charge against you. It's a lifetime no gun, which is total horseshit.
You meant jilted girlfriend, not jaded girlfriend.
Whatever, yeah, jilted.
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, trust me, I've gotten into it sometimes, but that's just in the past. Of all the things we've gotten heated, I'm like, the last thing I ever think about is like going upstairs, and going into the little where I keep my guns and settling the argument. It's never even crossed my mind once, and no matter how heated it's gotten. Because these are to protect my family, they're not to sit there and settle an argument,
And I have no problem with, somebody who has been proven in a court of law that they physically committed domestic violence being disallowed with owning a firearm. That being said, just because you've been accused doesn't mean anything until you're convicted. And a lot of these places, once you're accused, you're done. And it's bullshit.
Well, I mean, I don't get into that whole rabbit hole, but that's the way it was with a lot of laws. Like when somebody says something about you. I mean, that hating guy, and it looks like it's ending up to be what they reported is the truth. But there's some other people when, again, you get some crazy ass ex, and she wants to ruin your life and sit there and say that you did this, you did that, just to get even because they're crazy bitch syndrome. And there you go. And like I said, once you've been tainted as so-and-so, you've done this, try redeeming yourself ever in the public or in your local community. Well, it's never going to happen.
Divorce settlement syndrome.
Yep.
WivesGetHalf.com.
Yeah.
Put your house in a trust.
Living trust or a corporation or something.
Okay. And with a lot of states, how do they even know that your guns if you don't have registration and all that stuff? It could be your wife's guns or in my case, I have a son that's old enough to have firearms. They could be all his. They're not mine, they're my son's. You know what I mean? But anyhow, it's definitely dirty pool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen it both sides, too. I've seen some dudes that have been very vindictive, on the back end of their relationships, too. And have done some pretty squirrely shit, Just, you may leave me, but but it's going to hurt. But either. Hey, what's up? Hey, Huck, what you got going on? You got new knives, new projects going on? Anything cool?
You put some pictures up in the sidebar.
Yeah, I'm working on a trade for a USP 45. That'll be fun.
Did you ever decide what you're going to do with that problematic Glock?
Yeah, I think I got it fixed. DB did some pretty good analyzing and took my serial number and told me I have a MIM extractor. I haven't tested it yet, but I got a new extractor. I pulled the extractor out and there was like a big old gouge worn in it.
What is that big blade you got there in that picture with that USP? Is that yours or is that somebody else's?
That's the guy I'm trading for the USP. That's a SOG government. It's a good combat multi-purpose knife. they're discontinued.
I like
Well, I got
that.
to give you props for not just passing on a trouble gun to somebody else, just between me and you.
Oh yeah, no, I
I
kept
know a lot of
it.
people are more than willing to do that, and
We've got two now. I've still got that one, and Mandy's. We're trying to get her something else, so we're gonna. That's what I'm trying to work to trade for the USP is the extra Glock. I'm gonna keep mine, just so we always have a Glock around, and
right on.
I'll probably put the
At
USP
least,
in the bug out bag or something.
at least it sounds like you're on the downhill slide for getting it fixed, so you can actually
Yep.
hopefully trust it again.
I don't have any. After seeing the damage on the extractor, I have no belief whatsoever that it's going to have any problems. I have no reason to think it's going to have problems. It was
And
trash.
I assume you're getting a machined one now.
Yep, I bought the Wolf one, and I tested the steel myself with a file to make sure it was hard. And
Right.
um, yep,
Cool.
till then I'm still carrying the NAA and carrying the other Glock occasionally.
hmm Right on. Because you know Glocks never fail, right?
Yeah, yeah, no guns fail.
Yeah.
All guns are completely accurate, completely reliable.
I don't have a thing against Glocks. I just hate the Glock attitude. Like every 1911 is going to fail the second you look at it sideways. You know.
I love both. I'm a 1911 fan and a Glock fan, and I have two 1911s. One's a Para, one's a P13. I got on me right now, and then I have my other 1911. I like shooting the standard, government size 1911. But I don't know what it is. I'm a whole lot better with the Para for whatever reason. When I come to shoot, that Para always does well for me. Like Murphy's noticed, is like, yeah, you shoot better with that gun for whatever reason. It's the first gun I bought too. Like, it's a double 1911.
Now that has the conventional single action trigger on it, right?
Yeah, single action trigger. It's before Para kind of went out there with the power extractor.
I mentioned that double stack CCW LDA, and I'm almost to the point where I'm going to buy it because I don't know if I'll ever see one again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There's not a whole lot of them kicking around.
they weren't very popular. The LDA in general, and then the double stacked LDAs. Now I don't remember hearing too much about those. This gun's
This
more
is the first one I've ever laid eyes on.
the typical Para. I mean, mine's Canada made. It's made in Canada. So it doesn't have those features when they start making them in the U.S. where they start using the power extractor, big old hefty extractor. But people have gone back and forth saying that the Canada stuff was a prime and that the USA stuff was, the leftover or whatever. And I've heard the vice versa, that the USA stuff was much better than the Canada issued stuff and so on. But I finally got this gun running with the latest spring I put in, the recoil spring. And it runs smooth. It's a pain to take apart and put together because I had to put a really strong recoil spring in there to get everything to work right.
Right.
But
is yours the officer size, the 3 1/4 inch barrel or whatever?
the commander size, 4 1/4.
Okay, commander size usually doesn't have problems, but it seems like all the manufacturers at some point have had issues with the 3 1/4 or 3 1/3 inch barrels, that smaller size.
I've heard that in the past, but it seems that that's because of the popularity of all these manufacturers making now. That it seems that it's not an issue with the bull barrels now.
Yeah, they changed some things, but yeah, it always, I don't know. When I look at it, like I was talking to a guy the other day that was asking about buying his first one, and he's trying to get the short barrel and all this stuff. I'm like, if you really want more concealability for carry, because that was his big concern, don't look at the barrel, because the barrel is not going to print.
Grip.
It's the heel of the grip. So look at going to an officer size grip frame and or an officer size grip frame with the clip butt, I forget what they call that, but where they sort of 45 off the butt into the handle, bobbing it, whatever. But Yeah, because I mean, for me, I mean, I've got the commander size and full size, and the CCW. The only thing I can tell different about it compared to even any of those is it's got the officer size grip frame, so it's a little bit shorter.
I got a holster I'm going to be doing a review on. I'm completing a review on it. It's called Comptech. It's their Infidel Ultra holster inside the waistband, and that's inside the waistband holster I ever carried. It's a very small profile holster. A lot of people are transitioning to instead of the wider, kind of cross breech. It only cuts the amount of the gun that it needs to, obviously not to rub against you, and that is a very comfortable holster. It's a neat. Wow, I was really impressed with it, and I'm more never want to carry when I feel like carrying 1911, that full size government model, a Citadel I have no carrying it whatsoever. And some people say if you're really skinny, you can't get the angle you want to fit right, but I've been able to do it well with just the T-shirt over, and I like it.
Well, you can't carry.
I want to know, what does Edge being able to get it to work right have to do with something people that are really skinny say?
I'm working on it. But you're saying
most of the people I know that have trouble with 1911s, it doesn't matter what size they are. If you don't can it forward, if you're trying to keep it perfectly perpendicular to the deck with the barrel, you're gonna have problems because it's gonna flare off your body.
The further
you gotta roll it about 15 degrees forward cant, and then it takes care of most of the printing issue.
The further you go back to the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock position and beyond there, that's the cant you're gonna want. It's natural. And as well as for concealment.
Yep. So Yankee, did you hear me talking about that double stack CCW LDA from Para I was eyeballing?
No, I didn't hear anything about it. I just got in.
All right. So I found one. It's basically the big twin sister to the Para that I got from you.
No.
I've got them down so far to 725 because it's got some scratches and Mars that I'm gonna have to.
If you want it, you better get it, because didn't Para go tits up?
I don't know, but they're the double stacks
absorbed
LDA or whatever. I don't think they've manufactured in a while, anyways. So
I think they're going tits up. I think they got bought out and they're going to be absorbed or something.
Right.
You got absorbed. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I haven't heard the details, but I heard they have been picked up.
The thing is, they want 7 1/4, and I know I'm going to spend hours and hours working on it.
Yeah, but that's fun. So you should have to pay them extra for all the fun you're going to have fixing it.
Yeah, there is that. I mean, I know what you sold that other one to me for, and I've been offered a lot more money for it since, and I appreciate that.
They're getting harder to find, so if people want them, they have to pay a premium for them nowadays.
I've literally had 2 people, just so you know, I won't ever sell that gun because I like it, that Para. But I've literally had 2 people offer me over $1,000 for it.
Oh yeah, I mean I've seen. It's not unusual that I've seen them going for around that range.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the old Paras, even the Canada Paras, the original P14s limited, the P14 standard. Now they have the P14 Expert, which is like their inexpensive model. But the P13 was cut off way back in the day. Once they brought the guns to the States, they never reintroduced the P13.
Yeah.
Average price around 7-ish, maybe 8-ish. That's why I'll never sell it.
Till you pull the trigger on one of these LDAs, you won't understand. But both the people that offered me that kind of money for it, I emptied it out so it was safe. But they got to feel the trigger on it, and it's just something different. I mean, it's hard to quantify, but Yankees knows what I'm talking about.
Got some Glenlivet.
I think it's considered a 5-pound trigger pull that feels more like 2 pounds when you're running it. Anyway.
There you go. Right.
Cheers. Got some Glenlivet here.
All right.
Mahalo.
So Yankee, I picked up a different gun for the collection a while back. I don't know if you heard, but I got a Tech 9.
Really? You trying to be Lana from Archer?
No.
Sweet.
But I traded a PF9 that I only had 250 into for it, so I think I came out all right.
You need to get a matching one, and then get you like one of those turtleneck sweater dresses. Shoulder carry them.
All right.
Knee-high boots.
Yeah.
From
It's currently locked in the garage because my wife says it looks like a gangster gun, and if I bring it in the house, she's going to sell it.
I tell her gangsters around here carry high points, so it doesn't look anything like a gangster gun.
Yeah, I already got rid of my high point, so I'm good there. Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked about the HK. I'm chomping at the bit trying to get this guy to trade me.
Oh, yeah.
I got a guy that's got the, I think it's stainless or nickel, the Silver Slide HK, USP 45.
Well, yeah, if it's a USP, it can be stainless, because I think it's one of the only ones they do in stainless.
Oh, okay, yeah, so it's a stainless USP 45.
Yeah, I've got the USP 40 in stainless, and I really like it. I wish I had the 40.
I carried a 40 with a regular slide for a long time. I loved it. It's one of my favorite guns ever. But
My USP is one of my favorites, too.
Has anybody else noticed how many 40 caliber guns are on the market now that the FBI is going back to 9mm?
Oh man, it's crazy. All the Glocks coming up on all the private trade groups and stuff. It's absolutely insane.
The only reason I don't carry my USP, because it'd be like a perfect carry gun if it didn't have the freaking safety. They make a version, I forget which version it is.
You can change it yourself, can't you? The older ones, you could mod the fire system to anything you want. You could just order the part.
I don't know if you can or not on that on mine. I'd have to check into it. But if it was just knocker only, it'd be awesome. But it's got the safety, and I don't. Of course,
mine was 2006, and you could change mine. I got mine in left hand. I just never got around to changing it because it was decocker only. You could change it from decocker only to safety decocker to safety only.
I'd have to get a different lever for the safety too, because it's got the S on there for the safe. I wouldn't be able to tolerate that if it was decocker only. I'd have to change it.
Yeah. Just weld it up and grind it off, so you can't see the S no more.
So you guys are saying that there's if I don't know anybody's watching the chat that wants to get a 40, now's a good time.
Oh yeah, they're easy to come by, at least my neck of the woods.
And you'd be able to get them for cheap, probably.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of almost new Glock Gen 4s coming for like 375, 350.
About the time I decided to go to 9mm because to save my old hands, that they all start going back to, all the 40s start becoming available.
Well, so I don't know if anybody out there needs a gun. Sounds like a good time if they need one.
I'm going to try to get out tomorrow and blow some of my precious 22 ammo testing out that rifle. Or I'm thinking about maybe I should wait till I get my can. But
yeah, I didn't have enough minions to get a ton of it, but I actually got some of that Federal Champion blue box, the 525 that all my other 22 is. Yeah. They had it up at Bob's in Longview, and I convinced my son and his girlfriend to go up and get me 2 boxes, and it was only $24.99.
Pretty much every time I've been in Sportsman's lately, they either have the Thunderbolt, the 500 box, or the 333 box from the Winchester. But you can only buy one. So, and if I'm by myself, I just buy one. If I've got anybody with me, I'm like, here, buy this. And then we get up to the register. Like the other day, Bill was with me, and I went up to the register. I handed her mine, paid for it. Then he handed her his, and I paid for it. They didn't care.
Right. Yeah, it's getting to the point where it's not flying off the shelf as fast, but like I'm out in the Dalles right now, and the Bi-Mart people told me if you're not there within an hour and a half of them putting it on the shelf, you're not getting it.
Yeah, it goes faster at Bi-Mart, I think, than it does at Sportsman's. Of course, they're not charging a small price for these either. They're still kind of pricey.
Well, I don't know what you're paying for the 500 of the Thunderbolts, but
there's a sticker on it, but there's not. But I want to say it's around, if I remember correctly, around $22 or something like that. I'm not sure.
That sounds about right, because the Thunderbolt's not quite as good as what I was getting, and I'm paying $25 for that.
Well, are you guys like using Brass Badger or FindMeAmmo.com?
No, because then you got to pay shipping and everything.
Yeah, I just buy a local
one. Those are not online stores. They like track what's in at every Walmart in the country, or every Dick's or whatever. You can find out what's new. You enter your zip code, and they'll find out. It'll tell you either like on your iPhone with Brass Badger, or with Find Me Ammo. it's an internet.
Fortunately, I've got enough
Tell you what's in
gun
nearby.
Facebook things going on that they're telling me when it shows up locally now.
Yeah, this is like it scans it knows the numbers to look for the product numbers, and so you get alerts. That's what all the ammo mafia guys use.
Mm-hmm.
Two websites or the app and the website that the ammo mafia people use. So
Is the ammo mafia a polite term for the gougers?
No, not really. Yeah, well, it's just a bunch of people who make YouTube videos every day. They run out and buy a bunch of ammo every day, and they price match it, with other stores. They go to Dick's, or Walmart, or and the Brass Badger app shows the what's in stock at Walmart, so they know what's there before they even walk into the store. And people are like, well, we don't have any ammo. It says, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Look back there. And it's just a fun tongue in cheek, and
as long as they're not the ones that are reselling it or whatever, I'm good with it. But.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe they are. Who knows? I mean, this is America. You can't people what they can't buy and sell. Can't tell people.
Yeah.
I don't judge people anyway. But they're doing it just to make fun videos mostly of, and it's like. Really tongue-in-cheek, and it's fun to watch them. It's just a bunch of YouTube guys that do it. And they have lots of ammo.
Yeah, it sounds like. But I've been trying to be nice because I really only want that blue box stuff, and I've had opportunities to buy other 22, and I could have, and it would have sort of screwed the local people when I did it. So I'm only buying what I want when I can. So I'm not contributing to the problem, per se, I don't know. I don't know when we'll see the end of it. Pretty much everything is back except for 22. 22 is the only thing that's consistently posed.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the local gun shop owner. He says he's trying to save up money for an $18,000 buy of 22.
Because that's the quantity he has to buy it in to get it shipped in?
Well, I think that's a pallet worth or two or something. I don't know. It's just he has a really good deal at that price, and it's just he doesn't have the $18,000 handy, and much on this island. So
You tell him to call me.
I know if my wife didn't divorce me or whatever, I might order a pallet.
I've just been buying it here and there. It's been on the shelf at the gun store for a long time. There's still dudes buying it out at Walmart. But I buy 1 or 2 boxes a month, and we've got plenty, and we're slowly getting it up. If anybody needs any around me or friends or whatever, we have extra. So.
Yeah, well, locally, like the CCI Blazer, it's starting to sit on the shelf for a while because it's already more expensive. It's $8 a hundred, and even before the ammo stupidity, I didn't buy a lot of it just because it was more expensive. Plus, I found that Federal works just as good for a lot less money. But anyhow, but the more expensive stuff seems to stay on the shelves longer and whatnot.
It's kind of off topic, but do any of you guys have a dog that's addicted to Cheetos, Flamin' Hot Puffs?
Did you guys see that viral video of the rescued tortoise chasing the black dog? It's funny.
I missed part of that in the bag.
Well, you could probably just search.
No, my dogs don't get to eat Cheetos because it has gluten. And a lot of dogs are allergic to gluten, and it makes them itch all the time like they have fleas when they don't.
This dog, man, he eats Flamin' Hot frickin' cheese puffs. I just love him.
Amazing how much the diet will affect the dog, man. I've had a Rhodesian Ridgeback for about 10 years, and he's always had ear infections, like constant through that entire 10 years. And finally, somebody one day told me it was beef in the food. If you get it, even if your food says chicken, a lot of them have beef. You find one that has no beef product in it. Less than a month, he stopped itching his ears after 10 years.
Right on. Good for people to know.
But man, you can give him whatever. Nothing will ever happen to him.
Yeah, I'm paying $50 for a 20-pound bag of this dog food that I feed our dogs about every 2 weeks.
Ours is not much better.
I used to give them that Red Diamond stuff, or not Red Diamond, that Diamond Foods. And it was really, really expensive. I used to get the feed shop, but now he's 1 year old. He's all grown up. I just give him, stuff I get at Walgreens. He gets by.
Yep, and BB's on a diet. The doctor said she was about a pound overweight. She's been living it up at our place, I guess.
Nice. We're loving our Chihuahua, man. It's the coolest dog I've ever had. I've had a lot of cool dogs. I've known a lot of cool, like Australian Shepherds and healers and so on.
She definitely has a personality. My wife was asking me, well, when the current lab dies, are we going to get another big dog or another Chihuahua? And I'm like, I don't know if I could handle having 2 Chihuahuas.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I don't know if I could handle having more big dogs. Like, I want to always have at least 1 or 2 for security and scaring off people and stuff, but then the Chihuahuas are so much more fun. Like, it's a different type of personality, totally different type of personality.
BB's definitely running the house. She has her pick of what bed she wants to sleep in, including my wife. She finally gave up on trying to block her out.
Oh, yeah. Ours, Clancy sleeps with me.
My wife fought for weeks trying to keep her off of the couches, and we had to give up on that.
Well, my Chihuahua doesn't think he's a dog. He's a person.
Yeah.
So he doesn't like any of their dogs, any of their Chihuahuas either. Any small.
So BB is a deer-headed Chihuahua or whatever. And they're a little bit taller and a little bit bigger than your average Chihuahua.
Yeah.
But she can, like, from just standing there, can jump with extra room to spare onto the back of the couch. It's just crazy. She just launches. Whoosh.
Yeah, we call it parkour. Clancy does a lot of that. He's super agile. He's like a little imp, man. He's like a familiar, like a little demon familiar that follows Mandy around. He just rotten little spoiled shit. He's really friendly and really personable. He doesn't bark or like bite or anything.
BB's learned to bark when I or any of the other family members come home. The dogs bark more at us when we come home than strangers, although they do bark at strangers. But sometimes you'd think that they're in kill mode and it's just one of the family members. I haven't figured that one out yet. But.
So how come I'm the only one drinking in this chat?
I am.
Well, I got to work in the morning.
6 hours of work tonight.
I'm going to have to bail here in a minute.
Yeah, you're supposed to be at the gym 2 hours ago, Luke.
At the gym?
I thought you said that's what you were getting ready to head out for.
I'm going to hit the rack. I'm going to bed.
Luke.
Just had another guy this week send me, he's a big reseller of mine, sent me 10 knives at a time.
So he's having you do work and then reselling them?
Yeah, I've got a couple guys that I give deals to, and I knock $10 off of every knife for them or something.
They're turning volume and you're making money, might as well.
Yeah, it's great for me because it's doing 10 in a row. I just get into a rhythm and get them all done. And
batch producing.
And it gets the name out there 10 times faster than one knife. So.
Yep. Yeah, every time I get a chance to drag your knife out, I get nothing but compliments on it.
So, Huck, what's your website?
GhostTownCustomKnives.com. So Ghost Town is spelled with 1 T.
With 1 T, okay.
Yeah, they share the T between Ghost and Town.
I just carried that name over. Otherwise, I would have not had that problem.
GhostTownCustomKnives.com with 1 T.
G-Web's built that for me.
Yep.
I just kind of upkeep it, and I don't upkeep it very well. I'm really terrible about posting on it.
You have like the Russians always trying to. Do you have like WordFence on there? It's a WordPress site, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever like check your, see who's tried to hack your site?
No, I've only had like 3 comments so far. I've never 3 posts or whatever. I've never really had any any issues with it.
No, I meant
I'm a pretty small operation. I don't have a lot of hits. So.
You stay busy though.
yeah, but the hackers hack everything, small or big, just out of practice.
Just so they can.
I mean, the Russians hacked the White House on Monday, so
Yeah. I had a crazy funny meme, sort of a running meme on Facebook I wanted to share with you guys, but I couldn't figure out how to pull the embedded video out. But it's a couple of power lines playing jump rope with another power line in the middle, and it says this is why the power went down at the White House. It's sort of fun.
Nice.
I don't know, some of those ones that they put up on Facebook, it's hard to find the source code on it to just give you the URL, you know what I mean?
well, if you guys really want to laugh, you need to check out that tortoise chasing the dog video.
I guess I could do a screen share and play the video for you. That would work, huh?
You seen that video of that cat chasing that gator?
Here we go. We're going to give it a shot here.
There's that one cat that's like out there in Louisiana or somewhere, and the gator comes out of the water. The cat's like won't have none of it, and starts swatting at the gator, and the gator backs off, man. Goes back in the water. It's like, hell no, I can fuck with that.
There's nothing there. It's not big enough to eat almost.
Yeah, I guess so, maybe, but it's never stopped them from in the past.
All right, can you guys see my screen? You might have to lock in on it, and it's probably going to be herky-jerky because of bandwidth. But
God, I see your first name.
are you seeing the
Yeah, those
video running there?
towers there.
Uh-huh. Just watch for a minute.
Volcano. Click on Luke's.
Yeah, lock it in on me so that I'm showing so that they can see what's going on.
Click on his profile right there on the bottom. And that
I
will-
already did. Isn't it locked?
No.
We can't see the outfeed, so we don't always know. But anyhow, I thought it was sort of entertaining.
I think I clicked on you and I hit lock. Okay, but
Well, you don't have to screen share. You just have to click on his icon on the bottom there, and it'll post as the
It just highlights it.
yeah. And then you have to click off of him, click on him again to go back to where anybody wants to interact or image pops up.
Yeah,
Right,
anytime
well-
somebody's video sharing, you just click on their little display down below and it locks it in there.
yeah, I did that, so I think everybody saw it. Well,
Cool.
you can check the chat outside.
Cool.
and see.
All right. Well, I'm going to call it a night. Good night, everybody.
All right, man. Thanks for coming into the Tiki Lounge.
I want that
Thanks
Tiki.
for having me.
Take care.
I want to go
You
surf.
want- You want to go surfing and you want a Tiki.
Exact Tiki idol.
I am going to play with my micro rig and pretend I'm an operator, and then I'm operating.
You didn't have any video. You cut
Do
nothing.
dive rolls and like climb stuff.
I'm just going to drink because this is a Tiki bar.
See, one of these days when I make it big, I'm going to commission Hug to make me a samurai sword, top of the line.
Sweet. I will take that job.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how much are you going to spend on this samurai sword?
I got a
He's
bunch,
on top of the line. He didn't say anything about price.
bunch of coupons I got that'll add up to like almost like $1,000. No,
I can make you I can make you most of the fittings for $1,000.
Nah, come on now. If I had the money, shit, I'd love to get a real, like, authentic samurai sword, to put on the wall.
Me too. I can never keep good swords. I always end up selling them. They're just worth too much compared to what I get out of them. Besides, about like a piece of art. I don't have any art in my house either that's worth anything.
Nor do I, realistically.
All my guns, I have very, very few. I have 2 guns that were left to me, kind of. So I have those that aren't really. I didn't get them for a use. I just have uses for them. But everything I own, I have like a job for. I don't have any items just for fun.
I noticed that with your haircut. Just like straight to the cut.
Mandy's first attempt at cutting my hair.
You need to go back to the mohawk. That was more you.
Yeah, I don't like them all. I like the way they look. I don't like the way they feel. Like just a plain buzzed head, better than anything. It's easier.
It's like when you're getting your haircut and ask you, how do you want it in the back? Do you want it squared off? Do you want it rounded? Fuck if I ever look back there. You tell me. I never look at the back of my head.
I tell them I want it to look like rows of cabbages.
There you go.
Yeah, so in the last, I don't know, 3 weeks, I've been pretty much liquidating all my old gear, my old tactical gear, holsters, that kind of stuff, bags, pouches, and getting like nicer gear in, trying to trade up, essentially.
I got
pretty well so far.
I got that. Finally got that first aid kit with the quick clot and all that stuff in there that I bought off somebody's recommendation like a week ago.
Yeah, if you look at it, I actually got that too. I was surprised to find out it has the quick clot and a quick clot pad in it.
The gauze or the sponge one?
The gauze, I think. Like
you think?
A bandage. Yeah, I didn't open mine.
Yeah, I was gonna say I should probably open it to work with it and give it a try.
So basically, it's like a clay kind of that. It really only works if you put it right up against the bleeding artery, and there's one video where some guy was expressing concern that at some point that could cause you heart problems later if you use it,
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
But it's better than bleeding out.
Well, anything's better than bleeding out, but I think you might, if you can stop it without using it, then
absolutely. Same with tourniquets. I mean, that's what they were discussing in that link I posted earlier. Tourniquets do cause problems, but the ratio is not nearly enough to not have them. Like it's
right. Well, you have to loosen it every so often and let some blood in if you don't want to lose.
Well, you gotta, just like any medical thing, you gotta know how to use it. Same with the quick clot. Same with a blood pressure gauge. You gotta know how to use it.
I think what's going to be on my list next is I need to get some of those Israeli pressure bandages. Those, I saw somebody did a video on how to use those, and it was pretty good. It was like a pretty good.
I got like 6 of those in an old survival kit one time, like a 70s.
They have the new ones. Don't automatically unroll. If you drop them, they'll stay where they are. So if you're unrolling it around and you just drop it, the roll of it, it'll stay at the point of the roll where you left it. It won't just completely unravel. So
I also bought, just to play with, the SWAT tourniquet, which is the big rubber band looking thing. It's an interesting device too. Like I said, I haven't broken any of this stuff open yet. I don't want to do any training until we're ready to do it. Like we're together and we can do it all at once.
I put it in my range bag. I need to keep them for the house too as well, just for shits and grins. So I need to buy another one. It took a while to ship. It was like, wow.
Yeah, so today I got because of the Bud K had a 30% discount on everything. I got the Snug Pack, 14 ounce, 10-foot tarp, ripstop tarp, and I got what did I get that was cool? I got the mini Sawyer water filter that goes down to 1 micron, and I got I got 2 packages of caltrops. And those ninja things that you throw in the ground if somebody's chasing you.
If you're into those, I got a couple sets of handmade ones that are badass. I've been trying to sell for years.
What I don't like about being a nice guy, I always carry my little Swiss Army knife in my pocket. One of my family, after we always offer my toothpick. I'm like, hey, you want it? Here you go. You can use it. I'm like, no. Why not? That's gross. Fuckers. Alright, you don't get shit then.
Anyway, they're like $4 or $5 or $4 at Bud K. Plus there was a discount, so it was 30% discount was too good to pass up. And then I got one of those Manrikis, the chain with a little weight at the end.
Nice, yeah. I've got not a full set, but a pretty decent set of ninja tools. Something I've always had. Some of my favorite stuff is the old ninja stuff.
And those Manrikis are pretty easily to conceal. You just put it in your pocket, or it looks like a wallet chain, and it's a ranged weapon. So I
used to have a buddy who wore it through his belt loops like a belt, and you could just loosen the one handle and pull it, and the whole thing would come out.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good self-defense weapon. I mean, because you have to practice with it, you know. So you don't.
Yeah, very, very much important to practice those. You can knock yourself silly real easy. Having done so myself, I can say that. But
So that was the 4 items I bought today, but I think the tarp for my backpack was the main thing that I absolutely positively had to have, and one water filter too, the 1 micron water filter, because I didn't have one except just my under the counter reverse osmosis machine, but I didn't have one for hiking or anything. So I got it done finally.
Why does your tiki doll have a big hole in the middle?
Why does that tiki have a hole in the middle? Where's
Yeah,
it? What hole?
by its feet.
I don't know because that's just something I really downloaded off the internet anyway. That's not the one that I got. I made it red though. It wasn't red like that. I fucked with the colors somehow. But the one the tiki bead, I have two tiki beads on my Tavor rifle. I mean, if you look at my God of War video of the Tavor rifle, I have it basically put on the rifle wrap, one in the back and one in the front. So there's like the Kaili uh, uh, Hawaiian God of War. It's a little tiki bead that I got off of Blade HQ as a Schmuckatelli brand. And I got one pewter and one, it's like a dull flat iron. It's like an iron oxide called, I forgot. I have to go look at my video. I put the name of it in there, but I don't remember the name of this particular flavor of iron oxide. But so there's one pewter that's a little shiny and one that's kind of like matte. But they're these little tiki dolls, or tiki beads, I mean. And Keeley was the only god of war that actually had the Hawaiian god that had they had human sacrifices for. So
I don't know, it's clear to me. There's a comment in the chat. Somebody said I like to get into gunsmithing as a light hobby and make some money on the side. I I work on my own guns. I do work on I've built an AR. It's not terribly difficult, but I have done some gunsmithing to my 1911s and my Glocks and so on. I'm comfortable with that for myself. I would never do it for money unless I was licensed to do it and maybe bonded to do it because unfortunately anything you send us you even if it's your buddy, you're like, okay, well, I replaced your extractor or did a trigger job, and then all of a sudden they have some, even if it's not your fault, it's their fault. They're like, oh, you effed up my gun, man. I don't. You're the last one to touch it. Before I never had this problem until you did this, and then all of a sudden they're suing you civilly.
And it's the same thing with knife sharpening too. It's like Huck could probably tell you, when to go pro from amateur. I mean, first of all, when you look at a knife, you got to think, is it okay? How much is this knife worth really and sentimentally, and how much am I going to make off of it, and should I even bother to sharpen it? And if it's worth too much, what if I mess it up? Or so it's like before you go pro and think you can make money by doing it. There's liabilities, business ethics and civil, like you're saying, and just professional.
I was a knife consumer and lover for 25 years before I was able to comfortably make them for a living, and confident to offer my services and give people tools for a living.
The reason I say that is because I worked on my buddy's guns, like very simple stuff, replacing an extractor on 1911 and so on, and tuning it. On my stuff, I'm willing to take that risk, but on anybody else, because really the gunsmith business now, at least what I've researched, you have to go to school. Assuming you're young, you can afford to do that, because maybe have bills to pay or whatever, and you can afford to go to school. There's some really neat schools out there. I said in Pennsylvania, but you do the school, but even when you graduate, there's a lot of hard asses in some communities that won't let you work on their guns because they have that local gunsmith who's been there for freaking 40 years. Until he croaks, you're not getting a shot, and you maybe have to train. You have to be like his assistant. That even after you graduated to get a good crack at gunsmithing, to where you can maybe make money unless you revolutionize something where you can really turn it around and show some service that you have that nobody else knows about, and become
This is all true. I'm not arguing at all with that. The main number one thing that you need to do is not love guns. You need to love hammering and sawing and dremeling and grinding and sanding and polishing. And there's a lot of monotonous work to it. I mean, so far I don't know anything about this guy's history or anything, but I'm just saying the average Joe, you love working on your guns, you love customizing your stuff, but when people start bringing you things you have no interest in, things you've done a million of, things you're sick of doing already, that's where the real ability to be a gunsmith or a knife maker or a carpenter or whatever, that's where that comes in. I mean, it's different to do it all day every day. I would never ever suggest someone not follow their passion in something, because that's the only way to live, is to do what you love. But
well said.
Yeah, and it's like if you meet somebody that opens a gun shop, running a gun shop, just like if you think because you like guns, running a gun shop would be cool. It has nothing to do with guns.
you got to be a people person. You got to be smart. You got to be good at math. You got to. There's a lot of shit going on.
Paperwork. You have to, do all kind. Enter every box that comes into your computer inventory, and it's a whole list of stuff that really you have to be good at that has nothing to do with what you probably like
with
about
a gun store owner. And I'm assuming because you have to take possession of people's guns, a licensed gunsmith would have this issue too. One false name or one misspelled or misabbreviated state name or something like that, and you can literally lose your business and your entire license and your entire business and life in one swoop. They can come in and take everything if you screw up one piece of paper. I know that for a fact because I've seen it happen 3 or 4 times up here. They have a really hard time keeping gun stores in my area. But that being said, just do it as much as possible in your free time while you're still making money before you go full time into anything like that.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to just do things because they're fun to do and not go pro.
Yeah, see, I've always wanted to build survival systems, bags, pouches, knives that come with survival kits, and so on and so forth, down to like bug out bags and full soldiering kits and all that. But I'm not ready for it yet. I need to just build on my knowledge base and my skills. Like every day, I'm learning about new gear and learning new companies and new crazy stuff that's coming out. So I'm gonna stick with what's making me money and what I'm good at, what I have a passion for, and just enjoy the survival stuff. With the 2-3 weeks that I was really trying to go full on at it and get the gear and get everything together and build my first setups, it turned into a job and I didn't like it anymore.
I worked on computers for a living, and back in the day, I used to, in 2003, I enjoyed it. I just get a kick out of it, but then, like I said, it became a fucking job, and they got a little quick. But no, but I've heard of people even trying to get in the market, even when they are properly trained, and they go like, okay, well, obviously, either you have to open your own shop or work for somebody. And either way, when you get to people with some really high-end weapons, they're like, why am I going to bring this to you? Why should I trust you with this? $3,000 1911 or rifle and so on. And it's a tough nut to crack.
And why would you want to risk? Why would you want to bother risking the chance that you might mess up somebody's 3,000, 5,000, or priceless antique firearm? Just for the $500 you would make or whatever, or whatever it is.
Well, I'm assuming at that standpoint you're trained properly, but even then, like trying to get into that market, it's really hard. To the person that made that comment, Tapper Light, I believe, and you know, yeah, I hear what you're saying, man. You stipulated, exactly what you want to do. That's all good too. But I don't know, man. I looked into it. Trust me, that's what I want to do for a living. I used to like fixing computers, and I'm wondering now if I got into the, actually being a professional gunsmith, per se, like the dream, right? And I was doing it. If I would get beat up and worn out of doing it, because it's just, sometimes you can't make everybody happy.
Well, that's really like what I was saying is you got to really make sure you like the actual work you're getting into. If you don't like working on precision rifles, don't offer precision rifles to people. If you don't like I got a buddy who loves AKs and all kinds of carbines of any type of carbine, and that's what he offers is he builds carbines for people, and he's been doing great. He did 20 AK builds in 1 year, I think, and he was able to start a business and go legit and everything, and all from his garage, all for his passion of doing it. But he stuck to only the stuff he liked to do. And I kind of got thrown into what I do. I was like behind when I got into the business, so I pretty much have to sell anything I can. I take pretty much any order I can get, even when I don't want to.
I hear you. Like I'm pretty comfortable doing almost any 1911 modification, despite how you're gonna have to buy the right tools sometimes for some of that for trigger jobs. But as far as my own guns, I'm comfortable doing all that stuff. But um, as far as taking orders and stuff, now I was like, nah, because I mean, there's too many specifics, and I don't mind if I fuck up my gun. I don't want to fuck up anybody else's gun.
Yeah, we get that. It was just kind of a discussion topic, though. They say it in the chat here, just just as a hobby, but it's something to talk about.
Oh. It's an interesting topic because, like I said, there's a lot of people that want to do it, but I don't know. It depends on your area. I mean, I think if you're going to do that, you need to start your own business, not work for somebody, and work from there on up to build yourself to be that guy. Because working at a gun shop as a gunsmith, taking on orders and whatever work they can throw at you. There's what they call traveling gunsmiths that work between all the gun shops because they can't actually hold one or sustain one on hand, full time. So they'll just, throw the work that they got at them and call them up and say, yeah, I need you to come by and do this.
Yeah, see, he's asking about schools in our area. In my area, it's insane. I'm right outside of Phoenix, and all the surrounding cities. There is so much crazy tactical stuff and gun stuff that's been going on here for so long that you can learn anything in Arizona. I mean, there's some amazing schools and teachers around here. Some of them are just like old dudes living in trailer parks too. You learn the most amazing stuff.
There's a place out of Pennsylvania, somewhere there, and they're really astute as far as their. There's the other guys that offer these fucking DVD courses and blah blah blah. But realistically, you have to have somebody that's showing you the real mechanics of everything and the machining aspects to it to really get a well-rounded education on how to do this for a living. There's one guy that sells these DVDs. Don't fall into that rabbit hole. No, you need to actually attend, or get trained by somebody on hand, firsthand, not via TV or video.
My suggestions, having bought and customized and sold quite a few guns, as a hobby, it's fun to do. Just watch your bottom line. Don't cross your bottom line. No matter how cool it's going to be, once you cross that line, you're still going to lose money on the deal. Obviously, at some point, you have to go legit and get licensed and everything, but you can do a certain amount of private sales depending on your state. But that's how I really got into guns. That's how I got as much experience with guns as I have, which is not nearly as much as some of these guys, but I've owned more guns than I could possibly count now. I've lost count of all the different models and random stuff I've had over the years. And just get something, customize it, don't get attached to it, and grow your group that way. There's lots of Facebook stuff. You can post all kinds of cool custom stuff for sale, and all kinds of back pages and so on and so forth.
I remember the first, probably the first time I met Huck, and we started getting chats initially and talking about your products. People were really amazed the stuff you could do, and it really grew. I mean, just really grew as our interesting relationship with a lot of people that grew fond of your services.
Well, thank you. I do what I can. I was taught by a very, very good teacher, and I've worked with some really, really badass people over the years. I moved in with a roommate of mine years ago, and I didn't have a bug out bag. I had a carry pistol, but I didn't have like any real EDC setup or anything. Like I was just kind of a kid, and living with that guy totally squared my shit up. I mean, he was literally hiding in the house around corners with a rubber knife, like jumping out at me at random times during the day. It's just, all it takes is spending time and putting your nose into it. Like I said, do what you love, and it's not work. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. As people got to know you and saw your craftsmanship and your artistic craftsmanship, it obviously displayed in a lot of stuff. Where I mean, I think you got quite a bit of, at least a decent amount of business from your acquaintances off the chats and whatnot as it's grown.
Oh, hell yeah, it's awesome. A bunch of you guys have knives. Some of you have multiples. Like a lot of you guys have customs now. And definitely cool, especially knowing, it's much cooler in this scenario, knowing the people, talking to you people and see what you do and that kind of thing, as opposed to my regular customer that buys and I never hear from again. Or buys, even if they buy 20, 30 times, I don't talk to them. They just order, pay, and I send it to them. So it's kind of cool being on the other side of it. And it's going to be especially cool once I start offering all the crazy stuff I'm going to offer eventually.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Gotta have a testing audience somewhere.
So we're all just guinea pigs for your knife fantasy.
Yep. So it's like DB got a $200 or $300 knife for $50, $65 I think he paid for it. Yankee's getting a $500 to $600 knife for about $300. I mean, that's my normal price is what I would offer anyone for these specific jobs. But I mean, as far as I've been doing this professionally 3 years. The business has been around over 40 years, and I've been making stuff well over 15 years. But I just went into business and took over this, like started offering all my services professionally 3 years ago. So I still consider it a testing audience. Just like I said, it's good for you guys. I've guys that have my number 6 and 7 knife paid normal prices for them. And those knives, if somebody came across one of my dad's knives that was number 6 or 7, it'd be a $10,000, $15,000 knife, I'm sure.
And let me tell you, before Huck, you sent me a knife to test for free. Let me tell you why you're.
You'd be surprised how much I hear that. Actually, for some reason on Google Plus, I get a shitload of it on Google Plus. Facebook, I get lots of Pakistani and guys from India and stuff like that want to sell me their Damascus and their crappy knives. But on Google Plus, I get lots and lots and lots of people asking for knives to review or asking me to send them out some products for them to look at and show their viewers.
I've last time I was at the gun show, man, there's this one Indian dude who had some sweet ass looking knives, man. They look stout, the build looked good on them. Again, I don't know shit about steel, the steel numbers and the variations of qualities of steel, as far as the category of numbers they're designated to. But man, he had some really solid shit, and they were like $60, dude. And then the handles were nice on them too. Everything would look really good on them. I was like, how could this dude do this? But you were telling me about like a lot of those dudes rip off a lot of people's designs and mass produce them.
It just depends. There's some guys that do it. Some guys that just like me that make them and charge what they're worth or a little less than they're worth sometimes. I got a buddy who makes. He has 2 designs for sure that no one else can make. Everyone that tries to make these designs gives up. And we're talking like world-class knife makers. Like she just figured out how to make this knife perfect. And he's only charging like $400 for this knife. I would have easily guessed $700 or $800, and I never even asked because I thought they'd be way out of my price range.
Have you heard of a guy out of South Africa? It's one famous knife maker. That's like he always has that bloodline on the knife.
I don't know. There's a lot of South African knife makers. It's a big thing out there.
$400 or $500 a blade.
Yeah, I'm friends with one guy, but he's like a legendary smith. Like his are thousands and thousands per blade for small knives and stuff. I wouldn't even know
Okay.
what what his stuff is really worth. But those guys are pretty amazing. For some reason, South Africa puts out some pretty nice blades.
What do you get tops?
They're good. You always ask me this. I don't have any specific experience with them. I've seen lots and lots and lots of good reports on them.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I always forget. So it's a revolving conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I still haven't heard anything bad. Cold steel is still garbage. They've pretty much lost all quality control.
You think so?
And basically given up.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like it's gotten pretty crazy. I have the opportunity to see multiples of the same line as opposed to just like somebody will buy one, and if they get a good one, they get a good one. They're really happy with it. I buy 4 or 5 of the exact same knife and can't get 2 that are the same or even similar as far as quality, the grinds, the angles, all that kind of stuff. They're moved to Taiwan, and then they just put out a press release this year that says they're going to be trying to move stuff back to the U.S. and start using more premium materials. They started using plain cheapo Pakistani or Taiwan rubber and calling it Kraton, which is a special hard rubber, and a grippy rubber. When you get it wet or slippery, it actually gets more grippy. And they started using like 440 stainless and calling it Alice 8 and SK5 and all this weird shit. Just basically turning into a sketchy company.
I got one of their cold steel torpedoes. It's a fun little thing. Throw. Have you seen those?
No, I haven't personally.
It's not a knife. It's like this piece of metal. It's not that expensive. It's like looks like a torpedo. It's kind of sharp on both ends.
Yeah,
just
like
roll
those
it.
Those are awesome.
Your head. What about Ontario knives? What's your opinion on them?
Also an awesome company. They're top of the line, mid range. Like I guess if that makes sense. Like they're what cold steel used to be. Like really hard use, good quality stuff, but lower cost. They're not $300-400 blades. They're all averaging about under 100 at least. Just saw they were selling. I think it was Amazon. They were selling the kukris for $32, which is one of the nicer kukris in the market.
Yeah, I like your cross jimping you do on the back end of the blades, on the spines when you customize a blade.
Thank you.
It's always real sweet.
Yeah, the decoration's a big part of what I do. But sets them apart from every other guy that does that too. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of guys that specifically work on buck knives, and it's been a market for a long time. And it took my dad years to figure out ways to separate his work from the masses of guys that are putting antler handles on and doing like my picture here is just a simple like scalloped or chipped flint look on the metal.
That is the sharpest knife I've ever seen out of a box. It's ridiculous sharp. So many people cutting themselves. Like when I put that little quick set dumb stud on it. And the problem is with that, it wasn't designed to do it. So when you do it, the blade's so close to your thumb, you can actually shave a piece of skin off.
Yeah, I don't like those. I have people ask for them all the time. I sell them, but I personally just don't use them. But yeah, they are ridiculously sharp. Even that's an example of a company that has had massive growth and has had to deal with things that Cold Steel has had to deal with, as far as they imported a lot of knives for a while, but they're able to keep a certain baseline of quality. Like their quality control never wavers past a certain point. The worst I ever see with Buck 10s or Buck 110s is there'll be buffing compound built up inside them when they didn't clean them properly, or like there'll be scratches on it for where somebody set it down before they put it in the box or something. Like very, very rarely do I ever see a damaged knife from Buck.
From the folks I've talked to, people say that on top of the Buck 110, it holds a really good edge right out of the box. And if you do have to sharpen it, it can sustain an edge. It doesn't have to be treated all the time.
Yep. Yeah, there's a fine line. I've been doing a lot of precision practice with my edges lately, getting mirror edges and with the outside of the Wicked Sharp or whatever it is, the Wicked Edge, the new system that puts a mirror edge on your knives. It's basically a new landscape system that's mounted different. It's yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry.
I just wanted to show this knife real quick. Or it's not a knife, just the torpedo. Just like a spike with sharp on both edges, and it's pretty heavy. And it's a pretty cool thing, and it's not that expensive, so I got one. And I think they were on sale for 15, like they're $22 usually. So anyway, but you can throw them and do some serious damage to stuff. Anyway, seems like a good shit hit the fan thing to have around, so I got one.
Oh yeah, man, you get good with that. You hit a rabbit with it or a boar or something. That'll end its afternoon.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt about the knife sharpening, but
that's something I've always considered very important for shit hit the fan is some kind of large spike.
Yeah, so when I saw it, I grabbed it.
So yeah, squirrel to the ground real easy.
Yeah, that'll pretty much mess up anything it hits. So yeah, knife sharpening, that's like a whole nother, learning experience. Getting to that's like a lifelong, thing. It's like you practice it and you get better, and the mirror edges aren't the hard part at all. I mean, it's just getting the angle precisely right when you're sharpening it. At least that's what I've found. Absolutely, that's the number one key thing. I just put a video out recently about sharpening. I had some requests on Facebook, and it's really is all about just learning to hold an angle and do it the same every time. The biggest problem I see, like the biggest misconception I see when people are trying to sharpen something, is they push really hard on the stone. There's no reason to use that much pressure at all. You use barely any pressure unless you're taking off a whole lot of material. So you suggest for starters to use the guided rod kind of systems, Yep. A Lansky sharpener for, I think it's like $18-20 is a fantastic system. And then you can go and get the extra stuff for it. They make a mount, they make a diamond polisher, they make a ceramic polisher, they make a leather polisher. And it'll teach you what it means to truly hold an edge and properly build up a burr on either side of your knife and make it sharp. Yeah. Yep, consistent angle is the hard part. Yeah, it's always been tricky for me. The mirror polish is easy. The burr you get used to it, kind of, but getting this consistent angle, that's the tough nut to learn. Yep. Let's see if I can get my camera working here. Show off one of these angles. I'm fairly proud of most of them.
You ever created, Huck, a Tonto?
Oh, what now?
Tonto?
Like a knife? Have I ever made a Tonto knife?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of them. It's one of my favorite styles. Let's see if I can get this to... There it goes.
That's nice.
And it is sharp. This is by far the sharpest knife I own. It's what they call hair whittling. You can cut a hair into pieces without cutting all the way through it. Again, it's all about just getting that flat.
Do you make your own strops, or do you...
Yep. This is a block of wood that I use for heavier stuff, and then when I get down to stropping it, there's I can't really see it with the light here. There's a little piece of leather glued to the outside here. This right here is leather. So I strop, and that's why I keep the mirror edge on it. So like I've had this knife for 4 or 5 months now, and I've never had to do anything but strop it.
That's your zero tolerance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is by far my favorite knife. One of the very few knives, probably 3 knives I've ever gotten in here out of dozens upon dozens that I just couldn't let go. What model is that? 0301 ST for the instructions. Basically a Model 300 with green scales on one side. The black side is titanium. Sweet knife, big, heavy knife. And then I just picked this up the other day. It's my self-defense knife. I've been looking for one of these since they discontinued them. The Cold Steel Urban Dart. The Jungle Dart's the plastic one.
Ah, the Urban Dart. Okay.
Urban Dart. This is basically it's cruciform, which is a triangle that's hollow ground. So all these are dish surfaces. Pretty nasty little rubber handle on it.
You practice throwing that at all, or?
Yeah, I'm good at throwing. Throwing is one of my major things. It's one of the first things I learned as an art. I had a buddy show me one time, and it just kind of clicked, and just got good at it. Once you learn proper technique and good force and everything, you can throw a pencil or a pair of scissors or anything with good effect.
See, like your hostage on the left side of this, she's upset.
I should have conscious.
I was messing with
Work till about 8 tonight. So leaves at 6, gets back about 8:30. I've been going 9-ish, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning to 4 or 5 at night lately.
Well, I mean, so you're staying busy though, right?
Oh yeah, got a lot of stuff coming in. I mean, I can directly control how many orders I get by how much crap I put out there, how many pictures I post, how many things I comment on, or little hints I throw out there that I make stuff. I just sent SOE, John Willis and the crew at SOE, a package of stuff with clear instructions not to make a video, not to blow up my website or anything. I've seen what they can do, and I have no way to handle that kind of thing right now. Drivers.
I definitely like the new design for the dragons that you did with the wings up.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
You don't want to interrupt their arcs visuals.
Yep, that new dragon was drawn by my brother in 1996, 1995, somewhere like that. And so the first time I've done it is the last few months. Been one of those pinnacle things, I don't know what to compare it to.
What is a custom handle? Not like crazy custom, but it's a design custom handle without any jewelry on the Buck 110 run.
I don't know what you mean.
Like a logo.
Like if I were to take a Buck 110 and not do all the inlay and stuff to it?
Perhaps, but not just on the handle.
Yeah.
Not crazy, but just maybe a logo. What do you think? I mean, I always don't want to pin you down the price, but what do you think about ballpark?
I don't know. I'd have to know. I'm still kind of confused. You mean like a solid micarta handle, or like a solid custom? I don't really know what you mean. What you're looking for?
On the rubber station you have in your picture there, where there's a deer and looks like a wolf.
Yeah.
But just a handle with perhaps a logo on it.
Oh, so what's the basic inlays cost?
Mm-hmm.
For that size, which is 110, Buck 110 size, I do 2 of them, and I do the full metal work for about $450, $500, depending on the designs. So that each side, so one side of that, like an inlay that side, if I were to make a pendant that size and shape, so it's just the inlay, probably about $150, $200.
Okay. Cool, man.
That's that one specifically. There's a lot of silver work on there. That's a really, really good stone. That's a high quality stone. It's not like the common. Malachite's one of my favorites, one of the biggest sellers. So. But if I was just to do say Edge 4006 on both sides with one color on a buck, I could probably do it for $250, $300.
I was thinking of my logo that I created, but I'm having some problems with that. I need maybe the logo reconfigured.
Yeah, or that. I can do that kind of job really, because it's like I said, one color, one symbol, not like a bunch of random stuff that I have to like with the wolf and the deer and the moon and stuff, I have to move all that in relation. All of it has to be, you know, properly soldered, and when it solders, it moves, and then the heights that it sits off of the actual face of the knife all matter. When I'm doing one logo, there's none of those issues. I just put the logo in and make the stone match it.
Cool, man.
Okay. I also do all kinds of stuff, man, like payments and trading and all kinds of cool shit.
So the name of your YouTube channel is, are you Ghost Town Knives on YouTube?
No, my YouTube, for some reason, is Huck Goodnesson now.
Huck
Goodnesson, Gudnason. So yeah, I'll just find the link. Hold on.
Yeah, give us a link. Don't make us search it.
Huck's a Swede.
I'm Icelandic. Norwegian, Icelandic.
I was looking at all my subscriptions, going, let's see, is he trying to find if you were? I was already subscribed to you. I looked at Ghost Town Knives. No. Huck. No. Where is he?
Hey, Huck, do you take dogs from trade? I get this dog I want to get rid of.
I do, especially if you pay shipping.
This Dalmatian Labrador mix who has anxiety issues, separation anxiety issues.
Yeah, we definitely do therapy. So
Yeah, he probably fit in with you.
yeah, dogs love Mandy. They pretty much magnetized to her no matter what.
This dog loves everybody. Just likes to put his paws all over you.
Here's something cool. Just finished this last night. This is a Boker Magnum. It's kind of a mid-range tactical stuff. Boker's a German company, but I think these are imported. I did a custom handle on it, custom pommel. Really cool blade. Very, very nice lines. Very nice hardness. Very, very sharp edge. And then I did a rubber handle with custom stippling and a little nickel skull. That came out pretty cool. Cool little knife. I think I'm getting 65 for this one, 50 for this one right now.
Do you use a Loctite or adhesement to lock down those that art you put in the handle, or is it a?
Yeah, it's just epoxy. I've had one of my Glock for 3 years now, and it's almost 4 years now, and it hasn't come off. And yeah, so this has been on this specific handle was on a couple other knives I've owned over the years. It's just been a really nice rubber handle, and then I finally went and re-stippled it, textured it for this knife. Yeah, it lasts forever, man. I've never had an issue with it. I had a P22 that I shot like 3,000 or 4,000 rounds out of, and I glued a little tiny biohazard to the polymer on the side of it, just like right up on the side of the receiver, and it never even budged. It was on there. As far as I know, it's still on there. Yeah, you'd be surprised how long a little epoxy will last, especially when you're getting good epoxy.
Well, I subbed your channel. Looks like you have a few cool videos on there. Gonna have to check them out.
I have some. I don't get to do it nearly enough, but I'm not on gun channels enough. I'm not on YouTube enough. I'm not anywhere but Facebook. And that's the only reason I'm on Facebook is because I've constantly got a stream of orders running there, and I've got a knife group there that I'm a part of.
You caught me when I'm saving up money for a Lapua, so I think I'm mostly out of buying stuff unless it's something that I really need, like a tarp or something like that.
Well, and what I'm hoping to do is just start, like, I get a lot of knives for resale. I do a lot of just flipping. I buy something for 140 bucks and sell it for 150 or 160, and I want to start just doing like a video on every knife I get in here, because like I have the one I just showed off. Like, it's a really cool knife. It's not something I see every day. So I'd like to put the videos up there. G-Web's gave me the idea. Just kind of a little chronicle of all the cool shit I get to see here. I got one a couple days ago that's just knocked my socks off. The Blackjack, which is a real classic style of knife.
I was going to tell you, all means, post them in all things firearms. I know it's not firearms, but
Yeah, Quark had a knife channel, really, but I mean, I don't know if people really watch that one, or if we need a knife section or something.
well, that's what, I'll put a knife section in there. It's all things firearms. I'll put one there. I'm the owner of that group. And we have almost 8,000 members in that community. And if
Wow.
you want to show, I got Henry Keys.
Is that a Google group or
Google community? When I got Henry Keys, we had 300 members, and the guy told me, he's like, you're always posting in there, so I just kind of don't have the effort. I'll give I'll hand you the keys to it. And he handed me about a year and a half ago. I'm waiting for 300 members to 8,000 now. And I'll put a subject content in there for knives, and by all means, post it there. And
cool. Well, I'll be doing, like I said, I'll be doing tons of like random tactical knives and stuff like that. Old antique knives that I resell. I'll also have tons of, when I get time, I'll start doing. I finally got a good camera, so I can start the videos again.
I finally got a good mic.
Let's do it right now.
I mean, it's on my phone, but it's a good phone with a good camera, so I can still clamp it in my vise and make decent videos.
Yeah, I got a little deal for my Galaxy. 'Cause I mean, shit, the Galaxy, my Note 4, that's fucking excellent. 13 megapixel camera.
Yeah, that's the one I'm using. Awesome phone.
No, I love that.
I just got an update that screwed everything up. But
Well, I like the Lollipop update I got, but it has messed with some apps.
I don't know what it was called. I approved some update for the phone today, and now my Facebook's not working on it.
I'm waiting for the Samsung 6, the waterproof version, to come out.
No, fucking no SD card. Fuck that. It's a big selling.
You guys want to hear a fucked up story?
Shoot.
Sure.
My ear itched last night, so I stuck a Q-tip in it and like slipped and like jammed it into my eardrum, and it bled pretty much all day.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's pretty irritating. I didn't actually perforate the eardrum, but I gouged it good and bad. And I don't know if you've ever
Did you go to the hospital?
No, I should have, but it's finally stopped bleeding. So. Yeah, I went to sleep and it like pooled and filled my head with blood. Weird. I woke up like completely covered in blood.
You should save your own blood for like blood quenching some knives.
I'm not gonna do that. That's gross. That would smell so bad. It smells so bad just doing it in the oil or transmission fluid. I can barely take it. I worked for a farrier for a couple of years or so, and that was by far the worst smell ever, was burning the horse hoof.
Did you ever blood quench a knife?
No. Okay. I've had knives kind of, I don't know what you'd say, blessed by martial artists and stuff before, but never like...
Blood quenching is supposed to like transfer the life force of a living being into the...
Yeah, you do that anyway when you get to a certain level. I'm not saying I do that, but I'm just saying that when you get to a certain level, there's no way to make a knife without putting your force into it, without putting some of your being into it.
I've just created a knife category, and that's the link to it in that community.
Cool. That being said, I do cut myself on almost every single knife I make.
Yeah, well, it's different between cutting yourself on that than blood quenching it when you actually quench it.
Tell you what, I'm liking that one with the copper scales you got up for sale.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll cut you a deal on it, man. That's eBay price it's on right now.
That it.
Or, I still owe you. I could just send it to you, and then we could do something later for the...
Oh, trust me, you don't owe me anything.
Well, I still owe you for the holster, man.
Well, you're making me one for the holster, so.
Yeah, that one's coming, but I just meant more instant gratification.
Yeah.
Before you send me one, Huck, let me tell you why you're sending me.
That copper one is pretty cool. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It like bewildered me when it happened.
I mean, I saw that turn black.
Well, what happened was it was a plain file, and I put copper scales on it, and then I acid etched the blade, and it got all over the handle. So I'm like, well, let's see what happens if I rub the acid all over the handle too. So the copper from the handle transferred onto the blade and plated the entire blade with copper. So like all the little file
Nice.
grooves in the side of it are all filled. Like when you scrape off the black, underneath is all copper. So I once it was copper, it was like a bright like salmon copper color, and I like acid or etch it again with sulfur, and it blackened the whole thing. So as you cut with it, as it wears out, it's going to be like copper underneath and then steel underneath that.
Nice.
It's just wild. I've never seen anything like it. I accidentally copper plated that knife.
What do you think about those old Gerber Applegates?
Those are awesome, man. That's one of my very favorite knife designs ever. It was designed by a knife fighter, so that adds a lot of legitimacy to his design. They had weights in the fixed blades. They had weights that you could move around in the handle to make it exactly fit your fighting style and how you manipulate the blades and stuff.
Cool.
The folders are top quality. If I didn't have the knives I have right now that I lucked into, I would carry one of the folders. They're fantastic. Fighting, tactical, whatever folders.
I'm a karambit person.
I'm getting there. I just haven't found one I like that I can afford. I like the one Zoo Blade Works makes, but I think it's like $400 or $500. That's something I want.
I've got the Fox Knives one is like, I don't know, the best one. I mean, that's fixed blade and the
Fox
folder.
makes fantastic knives, man.
You ever tried, Huck, doing the whole lawnmower blade, making a machete out of one?
Yeah, I got one in my backyard right now, and I've messed with them in the past. I don't have a forge right now, so I can't do it now, but yeah, you just gotta flatten them out and hammer them into your shape. They're it's really good steel.
You have any machete sharpening videos on your channel yet?
No, I guess I could do that. That's a good point.
Yeah, I request that because I got a couple machetes and I need to sharpen and
yeah, that's actually a really good idea for a video I could do because I have a couple machetes, an axe, and a sword that you sharpen traditionally, and a bunch of shit that I could do.
Yeah, I have two that I haven't done anything with. I have a Tops machete and I have my Parang, Parang from myparang.com.
Cool. For my machetes, when I'm going out in the woods, what I usually use on my machetes is a mill file. I just file them sharp.
I was gonna say that's exactly what I did. I used a file, just came both sides, and met the edges, and brought this old rusted machete back to life.
Yeah, just try to keep your angles true, and even if you don't, it's a machete, so you're not gonna hurt anything. It's hard to do on some of them because they're spring steel, most of them, so they're pretty hard to file, but it puts a really rough edge on them, so they're really, really useful in the bush.
Yeah, so like what angle are you looking at for like your typical machete,
20 degrees.
A real acute, yeah, like 25 to 30 degrees.
25 to 30?
Not a long angle at all, like a real acute sharp. Because you're going to be hitting rocks and hitting knots in the wood and stuff. The thinner you get, the more likely you are to chip. When I do the video, you'll see I've got chips in my edges of all my machetes because when I was younger, I did them all way too thin and way too sharp because I like swords.
Right.
So, and nowadays, I put a big steep, like flat angle on them, so they.
Yeah, I mean, at that angle, I mean, you could still use it as a weapon, but it's really not what you're planning on using it for. So you have to adjust the angle for actually the practical use.
Do you ever anneal or heat treat the steel when you resharpen?
No, not when I'm resharpening anything. I don't. You don't heat treat. Once the knife's been produced, once it's got handles on it, you don't mess with the heat treat. On any knife, and anybody that thinks they can at home mess with the heat treat on a knife without the proper materials, knowledge, and skills is mistaken. They're going to mess up their knife almost every time. Like it is so ridiculously precise, and not even precise. It's not that precise. The knowledge is very precise. You have to know exactly what is going to happen in the next 3 minutes with the knife as it continues heating up, even if you take the heat off of it. Like there's a lot of variables when heat treating knives. So I don't mess with something once it's got handles or once it's been finished. I heat treat every file knife I make. I've differentially hardened like samurai swords and stuff. I've never done a full sword because that's insane and worth thousands and thousands of dollars. But I've done knives. I've done axes where I differentially hardened them. I've done spring tempers. But I also I've got a big thing for knives that aren't heat treated as well. Like I like to make a knife out of a leaf spring that's still has the original leaf spring temper to it. And then I like to make knives out of files occasionally that have the full hardness of the file, so they're just, I mean, it's as hard as you could possibly get for steel.
Let me ask you this, Huck. I think we've talked about this in the past, just to go over it again. When you see obviously the ninja movies, right, where the guys are going out with the swords, one on one, and the swords are being met. Obviously, it's not the common place in any environment. But when you clash swords with somebody, obviously you're taking off the edge, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're definitely chipping the edge. For the most part, real sword fighters don't touch blades very often, and when they do, it's the side or the back of the blade, preferably the back of the blade, because the side is really easy to break, especially Japanese swords. They're very, very fragile.
Look, they don't use sharp swords in movies. They use shiny things that look like swords on camera. I mean,
what they use in movies, for the most part, is a fiberglass with foil over it.
I mean, you remember it's all being underwritten by an insurance company, and they don't want anybody getting hurt.
Nowadays, they just have the handle with a little green stick coming out of it.
Yep.
Have you seen those? I don't know, but K has them. I don't know who's making them. Cold Steel. I don't know who. They have those Spartan replica movie blades. I mean, heard some bad things about the handle, but they just look cool. Yeah, they just look cool.
I've got nothing against any of those lower end stuff. Anything from Bud K, as long as you're not buying it assuming you can use it. Like if you're buying it because it's cool, that's more power to you. They make some really neat looking wall hangers and semi-usable stuff or daily carry stuff.
Also really heavy piece of steel. It seems like you could sharpen it up to a point. Yeah,
and that's the thing. Even with the weakest sword, I got a buddy who all he buys are mall swords, cheap swords, and hangs them all over his walls. And I always tell him you're gonna get one good swing out of it for sure. So it's still a weapon regardless of whether you think it is or isn't. And even if it breaks, you just pick up the blade and use that.
Yeah, well, that Spartan 300 replica looks really cool, like a fun thing to have. But it's on my list, but it wasn't on my list enough to me to add it at this point. I don't know. Sparta 300 was on TV today, so I was like, oh man, I should have got it. Fuck. But I was responsible and got the Manriki instead, because that I can actually use.
Yeah, I've been looking to liquidate all my ninja stuff. You can't list it on eBay, so it's kind of hard to sell. I need to sell anything like that. There's some very random specific things you can sell.
I always like the swords in Highlander.
Oh yeah, there used to be some really nice ones too. I'm sure somebody makes nice ones today. My brother had one from Mardo, Spain it was made like a cheap sword, it looked like a cheap sword, but man, that thing performed for years and years and years. He did so much cutting with that thing, it was absolutely insane. Never touched it with a sharpening stone once. Yeah, they're cool. I love the dragon handle and stuff. It's one of the things that got me into knives and swords.
Yeah.
So, what are your favorite movie knives?
Favorite movie knives? Oh man.
Swords, movie knives.
Swords, movie knives. Oh, that's a good question. I really like Under Siege, but that for the most part, it's production knives you can actually get. That's my thing. I don't know specifically. I usually don't like stuff like Riddick's knives or Like Resident Evil, I wasn't a huge fan of her kukris. Like it's just like for some reason I'm not a huge fan of the hero blades. Like in Lord of the Rings, I think my favorite thing was the Ring Wraith sword. That was just like a half, like it's like a double edge, but then towards the tip, half of the edge is missing. It's just kind of a neat design.
That's the one with the whole blade is like, you mean the one that he stabbed Frodo with?
No, that was the dagger, the sword that all the guys with the cloaks carry, not just the king. Like the ones they have, not the one he has is different. The Witch King sword's a little different, and then he has that little dagger that the blade disappears. But all the other guys in cloaks, they all have the same sword, and it's just looks like a European double-edged sword, like a standard Excalibur-looking sword. But about halfway or three-quarters way down the blade, one of the edges is just like it looks like it's ground off, so it's a single edge. And it's just got a neat look to it. So
All right, I'll have to check that one out. What I remember the biggest impact on me from that Lord of the Rings, the weapon was the Witch King's big mace.
Yeah, that was cool. That was very cool.
That was like.
I really liked Bill's brother's sword in Kill Bill because it has the inscription on it, to my brother Bill, or to my brother Bud, the only man I ever loved. I thought that was hilarious.
Wait, what I was talking about, the mace. It's not a mace. It's the one with the chain and the ball. It's what's that called again?
Flail.
The flail. That one. That flail was just huge.
Everything that guy had was pretty cool. All his armor, all his equipment, the stuff on his horse, everything was pretty badass.
And then he gets, what a terrible way to die. Stabbed in the back by a little hobbit.
In the leg, no less.
And then a girl kills you. I mean, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, I can't think of any video game swords that really stick out to me either. Like, for the most part, the stuff I like is stuff you can actually get. I don't know why. Like, I just never got, like, very rarely is there something. There's a couple examples of movies where guys have a sword that folds out or, like, hides inside of a little tiny thing. It's supposed to be a sheath. Like, that kind of stuff's always cool to me. I've always had a design in my head, like a blind man's cane that was bladed.
I know a lot of the cool swords are usually in Japanese anime.
There you go. There's a cool sword right there. That's a good one.
Yeah, the Conan.
Crush my enemies and see them driven before me and hear the lamentation of their women. Real shit in that one. Yeah, the guy, the picture right above that, the Highlander guy with the long, yeah, he's got one of those swords that like breaks down and breaks apart like a folding rifle or something.
Yeah, there was another picture. Yeah, because that one. It actually showed it where it broke down on one of these pictures. I forget where it was.
But I like the Conan sword because when it gets rusty, all you have to do is strike an anvil with it, and it'll shake all the rust off. But that's no shit either. Besides the rust coming off part, once you get a hold of a blade like that, there's no comparing it to anything else. I mean, once you have a blade that you could just cut steel with, or strike anything as hard as you want and not worry about damaging your blade, it's
There's
totally
the Sparta. There's the Sparta 300 sword on the left there.
Right.
Yep, with the wide blade next to the guy, next to Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, it's not that expensive on Bud K. It's like $40-$50. I don't know, something cheap.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a display piece, you know.
Yeah, they said the handle isn't that good, but the actual metal, they beat up cars with it and stuff. So I don't know.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, there's been some cool stuff in video games as far as like, I don't know. I never get into it for some reason. I always like them. I can't think of any favorites off the top of my head.
So how much would it cost to build like the Conan sword?
Well, to like really build it, or to build one that looked like it? Because you could build one that looked like it for $100. I mean, or you could probably just buy one that looks like it for $100. But to build one, I double edge. It's got to be at least 30-something inches long. I don't know, I'd probably, well, I'd have to buy a forge, so that's $600 right there. The anvil is at least $1,000, 1,200, 1,500. You're looking at $5,000 or $6,000 to build one. That's not including the price of the equipment. That's just including the price of building the blade after I buy the equipment.
Yeah, so
They're expensive. Like the real legendary epic quality blades are really, really expensive. The Japanese smiths that are considered national treasures make $100,000 plus blades. That's all they make. Like that's their low end stuff. Guys like Paul Champagne made really, really, really top quality swords before he died, and they went for like a wakizashi from him went for like $5,000, and that's the short Japanese sword. And then a katana would have been 8 or 10. And these are guys that don't have to put out videos of them chopping up pigs and throwing their swords at a wood target to sell them. These guys just, you assume that they're going to be epic quality. Those are really nice looking blades. I just saw a guy on Facebook. I'm part of this group that's got some crazy members. A guy selling off a full set of the actual movie replicas, or the actual movie props.
Damn.
Hero swords, Conan's father, James Earl Jones, everybody's sword. And they've all numbered certificates of authenticity and just amazing blades. And this guy's putting out like his life's collection for sale. I mean, it's the biggest collection of high dollar blades I've ever seen. He's got his entire living room is covered in knives and swords and axes and shit.
so let me ask you, how hard would it be to make that flail from?
Oh, that's insane. That's one of those things you'd have to commission somebody to spend a year working on that. Just that. You have to buy somebody's time for however long it takes to make it. Whereas, like, I take an order, I'm not charging you for my time. I'm charging you for the product. Something like that. It's like commissioning an artist for a painting. You're charging they're charging you for the month that they work on your painting.
Yeah, it's a piece of art.
Yep, and once the guys get to that level, whew, I've handled some pretty amazing stuff. My dad, when I was younger, was given a pirate's cutlass that was ancient, like old-timey pirates on boats, ancient.
And those are the times you want to consider whether you want to risk working on it, because you don't want to mess it up.
Well, this was something somebody just gave him. He had an old customer who was a good friend of his, and the guy just gave away all his knives when he was passing away. And he gave my dad this pirate's cutlass that he was swimming in the ocean and stepped on it and dove down and picked it up. Thing was almost entirely rust. But it just had like a quality. It rang, like it literally rings when you pull it out of its sheath or pick it up out of its box. It has a ring to it.
So you didn't derust it or do anything?
No, we sold it to a museum and bought gas for like 6 months. That's the unfortunate side of doing this kind of thing for a living is I see all these knives and I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this one. This is so awesome. I'm just going to keep it. And then 3 or 4 months later, I get a bill come in or two bills come in at once that we weren't expecting or something like that, and stuff starts going. The battle triage starts. My dad, 40 years, he made ghost town knives and never ever had one for himself. He would wear one for 3 or 4 days and someone would buy it off of his hip. Walking through the grocery store and someone would buy it. And everything I make or keep for myself, I end up selling. Hell, I said that about the copper knife that's on eBay. I was like, oh, this thing's really cool. I should just keep this. I can just keep this. It's not really worth that much, so it's not a huge loss. Tight week.
So we're in knife porn mode now.
Yeah. All mine are in the house, or I'd be showing some stuff off. Blackjack's probably the coolest thing I got this week as far as knives.
You can't show that one?
It's in the house. I can show a picture of it.
Yeah, okay. Let's see a picture of that.
Take me a second to find it.
I think Edge went to sleep.
Nah, he had to go.
Yeah, I think he was the only other person that was actually drinking here because it's supposed to be a tiki lounge, tiki bar lounge chat. So I mean, I had one shot of the Glenlivet, but I'm calling it a one shot. I'm not gonna. Just enough to enjoy it and relax. Besides, that stuff is expensive.
Yeah, I haven't had a drink in I don't know how long.
Yeah, usually a bottle lasts me a couple years. That's how much I drink. Except for margaritas, I do make margaritas once a month.
Look at the picture.
He's looking for a blackjack. Blackjack.
Oh, it's that one you showed earlier, wasn't it?
Yep.
I don't see it yet.
Oh, it's in the side chat.
The link in the
Oh,
side
it's in the link in the side chat. All right. Gotta put it in everybody else's or screen shared or something. Let's see.
I might be able to do that.
Here, I can get it for you.
Blackjack knives.
There
So
you
what
go.
kind of wood? What kind of wood is that on the handle there? That's
Canvas micarta.
oh, that's micarta.
Yep.
That's
And some
smooth.
yellow micarta that's polished to look like a bone. And then
Yeah.
I did a dark like dye treatment to it to give it the tone and definition of the different layers. Usually it's like a bright yellow.
Yeah, it's like just looking at it, it looks like you couldn't tell almost that it's
Yeah.
micarta.
It's I've just fallen in love with this thing. It's a classic style of knives. I think Randall is the guy that started them, and they were top of the line for years. It's really just a classic design, and lots of people make them. Like it's just the blade design, the handle design. Cold Steel makes them. It's called their R1 Classic. I believe it's R1 because of Randall, Randall R1 or whatever. They're made out of really good tool steel, made in the USA. They're old. When you pull the knife out, the little snap that holds it in place there flips behind the little tab that sticks out on the belt loop, so that when you draw it, the snap that holds the knife in is out of the way and you don't cut it when you're resheathing or pulling it out.
That's cool.
Just a really well made, like just quality workmanship on all levels. Nothing super fancy. I've worked on a few of them. I've never owned one. I've never had one that I could possibly keep.
So you're selling it on eBay?
This one? No, I'm keeping this one unless I get a really good offer for it. Worth about 200, I think.
I was gonna say it does look like pretty good steel.
Oh, it's A1 tool steel, and then it's zero ground. Like there's no knife edge on the edge of it. It's just one solid angle all the way to the sharp edge. It is razor sharp. Really nice nickel guard is soldered in place. So it's just glued in like most modern stuff is.
Yeah.
And it's not nothing super fancy. They're just really well done. Like they do it well. There's groups of guys out there that collect. They have hundreds of knives, and they all look just like this one. Different color handles sometimes. $500 plus knives. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that thing. It's just one of those. It's like getting a nice 1911. You know, see a lot of tactical knives. I see a lot of Glocks, but you don't see a whole lot of real nice old 1911s. A lot of Kimbers. Yes, I've done custom work on bayonets. One of the things that actually started me in making knives was customizing bayonets and making like just a tactical survival knife out of them. Getting rid of the ring and taking the fittings out so it didn't have a push button and so on. Shapes and popple shapes and cross guards and so on.
So what you have has so many damn AK bayonets.
I got a couple working for him actually. I got one with a stacked leather handle that'll be kind of cool. I got one. I'm supposed to do him one that's like a warlord. I keep revising the design on it. Like that's another thing about working with gun channels people is that they always consistently and constantly challenge me. It's stuff I have to design. It's almost everything I've made for anyone in gun channels has been prototype work.
Well, I think the coolest AK handle was the cheap Chinese ones. They, the like they look like the Mosin Nagant, um, uh, bayonet, the uh, profile. I know they don't make it, as far as if I had to pick which bayonet to put on it, it'd be that one. But I mean, the knife probably isn't any good. It's probably useless as a knife, but it looked like a damn good bayonet. Not that anybody actually hardly ever fights with a bayonet, but if you had to, I mean, besides they look cool. So
They use their bayonets a lot though. May
yeah,
not fight with them, but they use them for all kinds of crazy shit.
yeah. The Mosin Nagant had the best wound profile, I think, of any bayonet, but I'm not an expert on knife fighting. I only know about the wound profile with that star pattern that makes it hard to stitch and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd probably say the Swiss K31 would be a good bayonet to use as a knife itself.
Yeah, those are pretty decent. The problem is that most bayonets aren't sharp. Like, if it's sharpened, it was sharpened after the fact. Like, the soldier sharpened it, or somebody's family afterwards sharpened it. Um, as far as I know, almost all of them are dull. Like, there's very, very few exceptions where they come sharp. So,
Yeah,
they just have a
sharpening.
bad rep there. For the most part, they make good knives.
I have an AK bayonet, and I haven't really gotten around to sharpening it yet because I'm working on the knives that I actually might use.
They're really hard to sharpen. It's just weird angles. It's flat on one side. They're not hard to sharpen. They're hard to sharpen well, so they have a good lasting edge, I should say.
What's a good angle for sharpening an AK bayonet?
On the flat side, like less than 17 degrees, and then on the other side, I couldn't even tell you. It's probably something ridiculous, like 51 degrees or something.
51 degrees on one side and 17 on the other.
It's insane. I don't know. It's I just kind of did it by hand on a really rough stone, so it had some kind. So like if I had to, I could cut rope with it. I can't stand to have a knife that's dull.
Well, how can you sharpen it? I mean, you probably have a ton of knives. I mean, you probably spend the rest of your life just sharpening the stuff you have.
I've got like 5 or 6 knives. I don't have that many.
Well, I probably might have more than you then.
Yeah, I sell most of my stuff. I sell. It's like I said, I have to have a job for it, or I don't really. I've got a bug out knife, an EDC pocket knife, a couple of random fighting knives that I don't really consider because I got them for really cheap and just got them because they were cool looking. I really only have I did a picture the other day. I'll see if I can find it of every blade I own. Okay, so it's more than 5 or 6, but it's still not that many.
What was that last comment there? I didn't quite catch it.
I said, well, it's actually more than 5 or 6, but it's still not that many compared to most knife collectors, let alone knife makers.
Yeah, I have so many knives. It's just like actually getting a really good edge and everything would just take up months and months of time. And I'm not even a serious collector, so I'm not even much more than I just see a knife I like and I buy it. You know.
Yeah, for the most part, I just get it sharp when I get it, and then if I ever pick it up and it's dull, I hone it a little bit and it's sharp again. And most of those, like most of the stuff on the left is not like anything important. I don't the multi tools. I have one of them that's in my bug out bag, and one of them that's on my person. That's it. I think the Tanto in the middle and the big black one just to the left of the Tanto in the middle are the only ones that are actually like in my gear. Maybe the Cold Steel Spartan.
Yeah, that's a nice collection of stuff.
Yeah, it's modest. I used to have a lot more. I had lots and lots of blades over the years, but I end up selling them, trading them, and build with them.
Well, I'm gonna look forward to your machete knife sharpening video, and a lot. So,
Cool. Well, all the long blades in that picture have different edges on them, and I have a couple other machetes that are just out in the yard as tools, and an axe and stuff. So.
yeah, like I said, I have one Tops machete and one my parang, and that's about it for jungle stuff.
Nice.
Yeah,
And I need to sharpen them both.
I'm going to take some pictures of some of the old ones I've got. I know my uncle was in the Air Force, and he brought home almost like I think it was a kukri or something like that from the Philippines, or it's got I know
Nice.
it's got the two little knives that go with it.
Awesome. One of my very first good knives was one of those.
And then, of course, I've got my old samurai swords from 30 years ago, but
Awesome. Even the junkiest of junk back then is nicer than the some of the good stuff nowadays.
yeah. I'm trying to find.
I'm not shitting at all, dude.
I'm trying to find my butterfly knife from back then.
Well, yeah.
I mean, this thing was like 5 pounds. That's how heavy it
Butterfly
was.
knives are illegal in Hawaii, unfortunately. No gravity knives allowed.
Yeah, because I know when I was 5 or 6, my parents got me into karate, and we were just buying all kinds of stuff.
I've got all kinds of collections I'd like to have. I just don't have the funds to collect anything right now.
Yeah.
I have my stuff that's necessary, and then I put everything else towards work and bills. So like I said, if I had to, I could instantly look at that picture and grab one knife and be happy for the rest of my life. But that's
Oh shit!
Your dog bark?
Yeah, he's wanting something.
All right.
jump out, guys. Have a good night.
All right,
Thanks for the
man.
hack.
Good talking with you. Take care.
All right, so you want to shut down, take care of the dog, or?
Yeah, I think they're wanting out. So.
All right, man. So thanks everybody for watching. Check out gunchannels.com. And this has been a Hawaii Volcano broadcast. If you go back to the beginning, if you missed out on that giveaway from Everyday Knife Guy, he's got a giveaway on his YouTube channel, so check that out. This is Hawaii Volcano Squad, and that's that. That's a wrap.
Have a good one, man.